Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. It's Thursday night, it's ladies' night, it's 40k. I'm with the two sexiest men in all of 40k, Nikos and Tom. Hi, boys, gents and men.
There.
Hello.
Hi, Bob.
How are you both?
Excellent.
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
He sounds a bit sad.
he
bit
does
sad.
sound
Do you think
sad.
he's had some bad news this week?
Have you had some bad news, Tom?
No.
Do you need a hug?
No. It's all right.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, all right. Is this... So,
His
to
mouth-
let you
his
know what's
mouth's
on the
saying
show
one thing,
today,
but-
we will be talking about the Ynarri codex preview.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I want to say hello to you two. I'm glad
Hello.
you're here and thank you for being here. I want to say hello to everyone on the Twitch chat, including Heinrad, Ruskies, Mr. Kapowski, Reticenti, and Alandril, and Hook and Pin. Hello, because it's ladies' night. I want to say thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch. You guys are wonderful. Anyone who's out there is listening, including Brad. Yeah, who was lovely enough to send me a message the other day just saying, really enjoyed the 40k show. Just want to say thank you very much, Bradley.
Yeah. Cheers, Brad.
Yeah.
He's only here for the hobby tips.
Yes, from Nick.
Oh, fuck you.
Hello, Mr. Kapowski. Brad Glover, greetings. Wish you could watch live. We'll have to catch up later. Thank you very much. You look after yourself. Notorious Big Sean, all the way over in sunny New Zealand. Is it sunny there?
No, it's coming up towards autumn now, isn't it?
Autumnal.
Yeah.
They only have two seasons, don't they? Rain and less rain.
So it's just going to be for rain season.
I don't know anything about them, apart from I know that I want to be in the Goon Squad one day.
The Goon Squad. The Goon Squad.
What's the Goon Squad?
Yeah.
It's where you, instead of drinking alcohol out of something absolutely fantastic like a bottle,
Drink it out of someone's arsehole.
no,
Goon?
you drink it out of a goon bag.
Goon bag.
Yeah,
Like a drip.
like a drip.
Okay.
Yeah, like a drip.
Just intravenous.
Yes,
that in a
which we
wa-
might need to feed Tom to make him cheer up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to drive today.
There's Her Minister, don't worry, yeah, we'll talk about that as well. There's new nights. So thank you to everyone on Patreon and Twitch. You guys are wonderful. If you're watching on YouTube, listen to the podcast or any of those things, like, shares, comments, reviews, any of those things. If you go on the podcast, leave a review, that'd be cool. Wouldn't mind that at all.
Please do.
We're currently rocking them 5 stars, which I'm enjoying, so feel free to leave them. That would be really nice of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Right, on with the show. Notorious Big Sean, in response to the goon bag, says it's like a 3-litre wine bag that is cheap and nasty as shit. But imagine you put them in, you know those backpacks you can wear that are full of water.
Yeah. It's
But imagine filling
it's
that
like
with-
And then
drunk
you have a
Santa.
straw to your mouth.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We should get one of those hats you can put your drinks in. Just for the show.
Just for this, we should.
Yeah,
We'll get them
donate
one
for
day.
those.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get one of them one day. That sounds fantastic. Right, everyone. Pookie John says someone give Tom a healing crystal.
It's not me that needs healing. Someone did give this book a healing crystal, and it's fucking an
I
abomination.
can't wait. I can't wait for this show, Nick. I'm so excited. Right, everyone. Yeah, so I've said hello to everyone. I've said thank you to everyone. Everyone on Patreon and Twitch, you guys are wonderful. So if you subscribe on Twitch or if you subscribe on Patreon, thank you. You guys are brilliant. Right, on with the show. So the things we'll be covering on show.
Show.
On show, if you guys don't mind. That's an English way of saying it. Midlands kind of on show, on
Yeah.
where.
Yeah.
Let's call it Midlands.
I think so. Do you not think?
Midlands.
Do you not think?
This is bollocks.
Where's it
Yorkshire,
from?
Midlands,
Country, in it country.
bullshit.
Anyone from country?
No, that's Yorkshire.
No,
Fuck.
no, not like
Fuck
No.
off.
that. No, no.
I bet you've not even raced a ferret.
I've rarely raced ferrets. I haven't even got my level 2 NVQ qualification in ferret
ferret
racing. No. Oh, Hook and Pin, thank you for donating 245 bits to the show. Says it's Korg 86th birthday tomorrow. Oh, happy birthday, Korg.
Pog.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, fuck Eldar. Happy birthday to you.
Brilliant.
I couldn't think of a witty line after that.
Okay. Colonel Cabbage says, do you think Games Workshop are selling... So, onto the news. We'll be covering the nudes, and then we'll be doing the review
nudes.
of the Ynarri
There's been lots of nudes on Twitter this week. I've
codex.
seen a lot
Yes,
of
all the
drama.
nudes.
Yes.
Colonel Cabbage says, do you think Games Workshop are selling the new Knight at Warhammer Fest just to fuck with
Speaking of
Nick's
nudes.
League of Knights pack?
Yeah, I think the only reason they are releasing that is to fuck with my pack. It's a direct response to the League of Nights tournament.
And we are right in thinking tinfoil hat time that they listen to the show.
They do, yeah.
So
I
they're doing that.
don't think that's even tinfoil hattery. I think that's just a statement of fact, isn't it?
There's some evidence towards that, isn't there?
Go for it.
Rob. So last week when we did our event review of the team events,
Correct.
I went on a bit of a rant about how they did their draw, not
I
displaying
was gonna
team
bring this
names
up.
or names.
Yes, correct.
And lo and behold, the very next tournament they do, they start displaying names on the draw.
And we can't, like, listen, if you're one of the guys who does listen for that, then make them, like, I mean, we're not criticising. That's
No,
fantastic.
that's great.
Yeah, and honestly, Nick, the difference, so at the Heats, I was at the Age of Sigmar Heat this weekend, and at the Warhammer World event, they did actually put the names up as opposed to numbers, and it was way better.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would have much of an effect, but it does
No,
have a big
smart,
effect.
yeah.
Mainly because you're
So
like,
if you see sort of like the name of someone you know is a wanker just pop up,
perfect.
you know exactly
I'm
what
so
you're
glad
gonna
you
get
went
as
there.
well.
Exactly.
Table,
It's
yeah.
like the Grinch's list in the Grinch
Yeah.
film, where he's like, loathe,
that's-
loathe,
I
hate entirely.
hey, he's shit, free win.
So it's actually really, really good. So yeah. I just want to say thank you. Baron Satley's here, listing names now known as the Nikos Protocol. Operation, the Nikos
yeah,
Protocol.
Nikos
Ah,
Protocol.
That's why we make
Using
you
the
name all
Nikos
your knights
protocol.
of the League of Knights.
Exactly. You have to follow the Nikos Protocol, otherwise. So, including naming all of your units in your 40k army, Tom?
I did name all my Gretchen ones. If you take the bases up, the old base, they literally had names written in
Oh,
green
that's really
paste
sweet.
on the bottom of the Gretchen.
Have you thought about, Ruskies just come in like a big bollocks? He would like 1,000 bits to buy Tom a cushion for the violating you two are about to give him.
I mean, I play orcs now. So long as they don't make
I'm an orc player. I've always been an orc player.
I wonder how different that would have been had the Ynnari book been good.
So long as they... No, it wouldn't. Because you've got... Whatever. But so long
Hold
as
on.
they don't make looters, they just keep hitting the looters and I'm happy.
What, with the Nerf bat?
Yes, even though they already suck and have always sucked.
Dude, our day has just donated 400. Apparently, the entire show has been derailed by the Twitch chat. Thank you very much.
This is what happens over your life.
Yeah, exactly. 433 bits to Nikos says, send Games Shop a cease and desist notice for fucking with your knights.
Yeah,
Have you thought about that?
Can I send him a
My
fucking
lawyers
cease
will be
and
on it
desist
straight
notice
away.
for This shit.
Nick, why don't you send them a cease and desist cake?
What with a lawyer inside the cake to spring out? Spring out.
You've been served.
In both ways. I'd just like to say a special shout out to the Scrivet.
The Scrivet.
In the chat.
Yeah,
I don't know.
birthday today.
I don't know if the Scrivet is the female version of the Scrivo, our channel mod and also artiste extraordinaire, but she may well be the Scrivet.
She's at the ladies' night.
It is ladies' night.
Yeah, it is ladies' night. Carmack says, "Don't bite, Tom. You know, just fucking hold it in. Yeah, just roll with it.
I've got some more Gregs in my bag, so I'll be fine.
Please don't eat that on air. That's
No,
terrible.
I'm not going to.
So
It's in the bag.
So on with the news. You guys ready for the news section?
Is that the end of the news section?
So well, no, the first bit of the news is hours ago, minutes before we went live, Games Workshop and Tony Cottrell specifically did the orange box. I love it when
What's
Tony
the
brings out
orange
his orange
box?
box.
I haven't seen it.
So Tony once came and did a Forge World preview while the very first Orange Box was when I was hosting Warhammer Live, where Tony just randomly went round the Forge World design studio, picked up models, put it into his Orange Box, wrote Top Secret on the side. No one had given him permission to do this. No one. Turned up at Warhammer Live, and they were just like, I'm just going to show things out this box, Rob. And then he just, like Santa, just kept emerging with random new models, completely off script, not to any release schedule. No one was in charge. It was madness.
Was it kind of like the dude at Bobo dressed as Santa?
Like that,
Yeah.
only in charge of a multi-million-pound release schedule.
Did he pull out a crystal mech gun with pubes?
No, he pulled out like insane shit that no one had ever seen. And
So a
everyone-
crystal mech gun with pubes.
Yeah, please stop saying the P word on the show. Like, just
What, mech gun?
and the Scrivet is in fact. So I also love that guy. So Tony Cottrell, if you get the opportunity to watch it, he's amazing, and he does loads of stuff. And there are some new knights on the horizon, specifically upgrade kits for the Armigers.
Yeah, they look really cool. I love. They look like the Styrics and Megara weapons. So one of them looks like it's got dual wielding like lightning cannon things.
Yeah.
One of them has like a small. No, so one of them has a.
One of them has a rad
One of them,
cleanser.
so one of them's got a small Volkite shower vial, and then a claw with what I assume is a rad
Rad
cleanser.
cleanser.
Yeah, Hecaton Siege Core with a rad cleanser. So personally, I think that that's actually awesome.
Yeah.
And the more upgrade kits that they've got, because the Dreadnought like arm options are just, I mean, they're not all created equal, as in like their output and whether or not you would actually take them in a game or not take them in a game. But the actual bodies of the Armiger and the one I hate the most,
The Helverin.
Helverins, are pretty cool bodies. So like it's nice having like different weapon options on them, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
like, especially with the range of like Forge World kind of like Des Mechanicus style stuff. So I'm very pumped about that.
Plus, like the Armigers, they didn't get like a face mask, like all the knights. They just had a bare Mechanicum head,
Yeah,
which I wasn't super happy about because I really like the knightly helmets that the full knights get, and it looked like in this kit that they've got more knightly helmets.
they do.
Which look pretty cool.
They're more heraldic, yeah. So expect from Warhammer Fest and potentially later more upgrade kits for both the Armiger and Helverin kit, which I'm excited about. More options, especially for the League of Knights. That's cool.
So you can make them look like Bane from The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, there's loads of options. The claw's cool. Like all the weapon loadouts are fun, so I'm pumped about that. They also showed this before though. They showed the different. There's a new Proferon weapon kit loadout.
Yeah.
So they've showed that as well. So that's, I mean, if you're a knight player, that's very exciting. More to add to your growing legio. There was also, I'm gonna segue in faction. Yeah, thank you. They also showed the Mole, the super heavy transport for Mechanicum. But if some people missed it, and it's very easy to have missed in the Australian Warhammer preview, they showcased some new things, specifically an Iron Hands Tech Marine special named character coming in the future.
Faris Manus.
No, a Primaris one, a Primaris Tech Marine, basically.
Primarchus.
Yeah, but there was a teaser trailer.
where's
Well,
Valrak?
there were two teaser trailers. One, Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really hyped for that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, thoughts?
Pogs.
Really excited
Yeah.
because I kind of always intentionally built my knights for my Chaos army,
Yeah,
but the rules are gash, so just use the Imperial ones. So it'd be really nice to have like Imperial Knights mixed in with my Chaos soup.
yeah. It'd be
with
nice.
Decent rules.
Yeah, an actual Chaos Codex that's decent,
Yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
before the Castellan in it is really, really good because it was sent to print before the FAQ dropped.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. Just take
Yeah.
your Castellan and put some spikes on it. That's fine.
And then, so that's really exciting. So that's still in faction. Knights still in faction. And also, there was a very small teaser trailer for like alluding to a transport of some variety for Skitari. Now, it could be the super heavy transport that you saw in the Forge World model that they showcased today, but. As some people may or may not know if you're a big 40k fan, there's an entire range of Mechanica models still sat on the shelf in Forge World that they don't sell for 40k, and it's some of the only models in Forge World that you can't use in 40k. There's very few that you can't, and to not have an entire faction of Mechanicum stuff. So, in my personal opinion, that feels like a little like point of a finger, like we're going to let the Forge World models be inside 40k, which would explode that faction out massively. That would be. I don't know. What do you guys think? As a mechanical player myself, I'd be thrilled because they've got some really unique models. They've got the really big robots that have got like really stupid big guns and
The Castellan.
yeah, they've got transports, so that solves the transport problem. They've got cool little robot dogs, the Vortrax. They've got planes. They've got a variety of stuff. So, do you think that would be too much for Mechanicum to get, or because it would make it a massive faction at that point?
I think the likelihood is with Forge World how they usually do things. Some things in there will be heinously broken and will be FAQ'd out of existence.
The other half will be just straight dog.
Yeah, but it'd be really cool to see those on the tabletop outside of Heresy games because whenever I've been through Forge World at Warhammer World and looked at the Mechanicum stuff, it's really really awesome models, particularly the robot stuff.
Yeah.
The Automator. or
The
what they're
Automata,
called.
yeah. As an owner, I own. I think I own everything that's Automata. The Mimrodons are just exceptional models. So for me personally, especially as we're moving forward, I don't think it would be impossible because obviously there's been whispers of Dark Mechanicum coming at some point. And actually, if you guys have ever followed the lore, all of the stuff that Forge World sell could potentially be Dark Mechanicum. Everything that Games Workshop sell in the Mechanicum range actually technically can't be Dark Mechanicum, or it could be, but it's quite complicated to like explain. Does that make sense? It's like it's like
because they like split off in their history, and the new stuff, the Games Workshop stuff, is like post-heresy design and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Whereas everything in Forge World is effectively pre-heresy, not quite, but almost effectively pre-heresy with the Thousand Suns stuff.
Who's punching
I
those
know,
things now?
I know. with the Thousand Suns Automata actually being specifically heresy because it got demons inside them. So it'd be cool if Thousand Suns got demon robots.
But I thought there's nothing inside Thousand Suns anyway. They're all dust.
No, there's demons inside the robots.
Technically, Thousand Suns themselves are demon robots now, though, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, it depends. I think actually no, because I think that they still have mortal souls, and
Well, what is
demons are immortal
I see.
potentially. But we are getting into the immaterium of a conversation there that I don't really feel law-based powerful enough to continue.
I
so.
do.
Oh, okay, Tom. Thoughts?
I think they are robots.
Okay, good. Oh, Ace Face, hello. What a lovely man. Organises some of the best 40k events you can go to in the country. You should check that guy out. Alandro says there's a couple of rumour images that would map very well to a transport using the Dunecrawler design elements. And Mr. Price says it's a thing coming, not Forge World. They already have demon trash bins, aka rubrics. So we both talked about
Boom.
at the same time, which is cool.
He agrees with me on law.
So, anyway, as I build up that hype for the excitement of those things, but that is just to get a piece of guesswork and nothing I know. However, some of the most exciting 40k news that's ever happened happened this week. Whether or not...
Was it the Home Nations?
I don't know what that means.
There you go. Okay.
Whether or not it was... but it was actually, again, I have to go and talk about the Games Workshop stream. Because on Friday...
Oh, yes.
That dark place.
That dark place. Yes. On Friday, they had the lead developer for Warhammer 40,000 on, Mr. Robin Credence. Lovely man, real nice guy. And as is...
Loose lips.
Loose lips do sink ships. And as some people have pointed out quite correctly, but like possibly, is that my loose lip sinking ship? They have pointed out that Mr. Credence has announced Warhammer 40,000 9th edition because he said, when we're dealing with 40k 9, and they went 40k 8. And what you got to remember is at the stage of development they're at in the game, and this ties in with very much a very not strong rumor, but a conversation I personally had where when I was working at Games Workshop, where they said that every game would be on a 2-year cycle. So it would mean that 40k would be relaunched this summer, whereas Age of Sigmar will be relaunched next summer, and then we'll be on that continual 2-year cycle for the game. At the minute, just a rumor. However, it marries up with a piece of what I was specifically told while working at Games Workshop 2 years ago. So I don't really know how, it's a very solid, I would say that's a solid rumor.
It's an educated guess.
I would say that's a very educated guess, yes. And they would have to have, from me left to now, to have decided to change their decision to...
In that print cycle as well.
Yeah, to redo the game every 2 years. I don't imagine it'll be like the jump that we had from 7th to 8th, but I imagine that there'll be some pretty hefty structural changes. Or if just everything gets in all the FAQs get put into one new book, that would be fine with me too.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be cool.
So what do you guys both saw that clip? What did you make of it?
I haven't seen the clip yet.
Nikos?
I saw the clip and he definitely... you can tell when he said it, he didn't mean to let slip that, and then tried to cover it up, and then the guy sat next to him also tried to cover it up by making some comment of, how many editions have we made, and then quickly moving on. So yeah, I definitely think he he lets
These guys aren't media professionals.
No.
These guys are rules development professionals, and that Tom raises his eyes at that. But that's their job.
You got to do that for banner.
Yeah, you have. But, asking them,
Just some spice.
asking them. Personally, I would never ever put them in front of the screen.
Unless
I would
they're scripted.
Yeah, I would.
Unless they're playing WoW.
Yeah, exactly. I would have professionals relaying that information outwards as opposed to having them. Not that they're not capable. It seems
I wish
stupid.
Games Workshop did press conferences, like politicians
Wheel
do.
them out.
or-
Well,
They
do the studio reveals, but to describe them as underwhelming would be an overstatement. They are just, especially while I was there, I remember having a conversation with them, and I was just like, and this comes down to the launch of 40k, the last edition, not to be like an old.
How many editions were there, Rob?
Huh?
How many did? Never mind.
We're on 8th. That was
We're on 8th,
Yeah. So on the last edition of 8th, when they were announcing it, they were like, we were thinking we'll just do like a little chat from the moot, which was like a small 100-person potentially auditorium that they would use for conferences. Yeah. Very, very small. And I was like, why don't you do it live for 24 hours and do like loads of games? And they were like, oh yeah, maybe we'll do that. But it was a bit lackluster. And then again, it really points. I've got this continuing thread that I don't think that the people who work internally are very proud of what they do. What I mean by that is they don't think it's as awesome as I think it's awesome. Like I'll wear like a Warhammer t-shirt and be like, Warhammer's fucking cool, yeah, and say it at a pub, and they'll be like, yeah, I work at Games Workshop, and I'm like, no man, own that shit. It's awesome. It's fucking cool as hell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I personally think that they should be a bit like more bells and whistles about it. Scream it from the rooftop, fireworks.
Yeah,
One of those
tattoo.
big inflatable men.
Yeah, just drive that Rhino they have, and just drive it around
It's
Nottingham.
like a Red Bull car.
Yeah, exactly. They should get some sort of printable kit so you could attach it to your car, and then it becomes a Rhino.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I saw on the way
I'd
here
do
there
that.
was an Audi, a big white Audi, and a big black BMW, and it was at the section coming into town where the line in the middle of a road fades away, so it looked like it was one road. And the Audi tried to move across into the centre of the road, and they both slowed down and got into a fight with each other, started screaming into each other's windows. Imagine if one of them had a Rhino.
Yeah, if one of
That'd
us
be
was
much
a
better.
rhino.
That would be much better.
Yeah.
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 Problem solved.
The dude, lovely Mr. Chucklebutty has showcased it in the chat, the link. 40k 9th announced. So you heard it here first? Question mark? You actually heard it first on Warhammer
Announced
Live.
by
Yeah,
three
but here a
blokes.
second.
which is actually the very first time you heard Age of Sigmar 2 announced, was again on the live stream for Games Workshop.
More leaks than Double F stream. It's
Yeah, and
horrendous.
so I personally don't subscribe to Games Workshop TV, but maybe worth it, and to listen through the hours of content.
For that once a year leak.
Well, I can go and find it because I am subscribed.
Oh,
So
okay, it's
go
all right.
and
You
find
don't
it.
have to. It's been clipped and put in the chat.
That's okay. I use it for VODs when I get on the stream.
Yeah, so feel free to share that all over social media, just to rustle people's jimmies, which makes me laugh.
I do like
Alan
rustling
will
jimmies.
say, Star Wars X32 says it's like all developers, they should never speak to the customer. Alan says it's way too much for the drain to try and continue to read a codex range, and they are taking about covering new factions and such. But I'm almost certain we're going to see we'll see a new Space Marine codex,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because they've got all those new Space Marine models.
New AdMech maybe as well if we've got the orange.
New
box
AdMech,
stuff, right?
yeah, new AdMech if we have new AdMech stuff.
Yep.
AdMech,
New Eldar.
no, never.
Look what they did to my boy.
Chester Master Varric in the chat says Wade definitely knows it was a leak. His reaction is priceless.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
He kind of uncomfortably shifts in his chair, doesn't he?
he's like, oops. But the people I know are super excited about something coming around then. So, do you know what? Let's just leave a minute on this, if you don't mind. How would you both feel if that was a fact? Like,
What if Ninth was...
yeah. So, and to give you guys some sort of concept as to when it would be, it'll always be every summer because that's the beginning of a new financial year. So what they effectively do is they leave the cut off. So they do a big hype. It's what they did for every other edition for the past few years. They'll do a big hype leading up to a summer release, because then what that does is that gives them a good financial quarter, and then they can track along leading up till Christmas, because they are a floated company. So they have to maintain, in order for their stock prices to not grow, because I don't think that they want them to get any higher, because then there'll be a big dip. But in order for them to plateau or keep at a kind of consistent level, what they'll have to do is do provable results at certain times in the year.
It's like when you work in retail and you don't want to have like a massive section because then your goals go like through the roof and you can't reach them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they've got Christmas towards the end, and then at the beginning of the second half, and then they have the kind of July period forward. So more than likely, I would expect something like July. But what do you guys think?
So long as they don't use it for the ETC, I don't care.
Huh?
So long as it doesn't end up getting used for the ETC, I don't care. So hopefully the later into summer, the better, I'd imagine, for me.
For you, all right. So you're not, but before we get on to like impact personally, like, do you think it needs an updated rulebook or codex?
No.
All right, solid. Do you want any justification for that?
What would you change about the game right now?
Pardon me?
What would you change about the game right now?
I think that you can lose on the first turn, often.
Add in Death Stars, you can do that with codices. Put in a Screamer Star, dude.
Yeah, well, we'll get to your thoughts on that in a bit, I think.
We'll have to do an editorial on Death Stars and their use.
All right, yeah, that sounds fun.
We'll
That
do
sounds fun. Nick, what do you think?
I don't necessarily think they need to release a new edition because I'm having fun with the current edition. It's not perfect, but what edition ever is?
No.
I'm still having fun playing it, but it'll be really cool if there is a new edition because there'll be new changes. It changes how you play the game, how you design your army. In terms of what I'd be expecting, what I'd say would be coloured by a rumour that I've heard that I don't know if I can really say it or not.
Right, okay. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I think the best thing would be about a game change is that I'm really into 40k. I love the models, especially the lore, but I do feel that they made a structural problem for themselves with especially with all the codexes out now. Soup it being an issue is a conversation still that we still all have constantly. And then beyond that, I think that the damage output that stuff has inside the game is just vast. Like, and it's not that you can't build armies to deal with it, and it's not that you can't build armies. It's just I think that those armies are fairly polarizing. I don't think that there's a particularly even spread at the top for winning. You see a lot of the lists, whichever they may be, containing many of the same units. And that's just because I think it works that way. So I personally think that and that's true for all kind of matters.
I think that kind of spins into the whole editorial about how you deal with this kind of stuff again with the Death Stars, though. Because when you've got so many units in the game, you're going to have some that naturally float to the top and some that naturally float to the bottom.
Agreed.
You've got, like, how many units are in this game? Someone has to do that, like, count.
A lot.
Yeah. Put closer to 1,000 than 0, I'd imagine. So with that kind of number of units, if you're seeing 20% of those units at the top, that's a vastly varied meta.
Agreed. I just don't think that's what you're seeing.
No,
Like,
I know, but do you think that's realistic that you're ever going to be able to see that?
No, and again, I like the fluctuation. Actually, realistically, I like the fluctuation of stuff going up and down. What I don't like is what we saw when we did the LCO coverage for Ace Phase. So we saw Jane's entire army taken off by another army in the first turn.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, and similarly, I don't think I loved the mirror matches for the Eldar because I think that they were playing on the same level. But I think we could have gone and watched some Eldar versus other army matches and just seen a whitewash. Realistically,
you could have seen Eldar versus Deathwatch, and the Deathwatch would have beaten the Eldar most likely, because Deathwatch is one of those lists that does really, really well into Drukhari specifically.
Yes, and I don't disagree with that either. I just think there's a lot at the bottom, and I think there's actually not that much at the top.
Okay, well, we can have a discussion about that.
Yeah,
That's a really big. Deep
but there are some other cool things that I've seen in the chat. Specifically, Aceface says they need a new edition so they can introduce endless spells
Please.
and terrain pieces.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys don't play Age of Sigmar, in Age of Sigmar now, every time they release a battle tome, they put out a piece of terrain. FYI, 40k players, they've already done that for 40k. You've got an Infinity Gate.
Yeah.
You've got a mech workshop.
Yeah, but no one sees that.
You've got a drill machine.
Do you?
You got
For Gene Stealer Colts.
you got a Mechanicum scaffold for a night.
You have, but imagine when you get them for free.
The mech one is
And you're
still
basically
shit.
forced to buy it.
You are forced to buy it
it's
because it will
free,
give you
and
free
shoot
rules.
yourself in the foot if you don't.
And then in Age of Sigmar, you get endless spells, which it would make sense. Didn't they just talk about a huge psychic thing because of Vigilus? They did. Inside of
Don't know,
Vigilus.
did
Yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah.
That's fluffed.
So imagine if they were to then add endless psychic powers.
And what would they call them?
Psychic maledictorums.
Yeah.
Vortex of Doom.
Do you think in Age of Sigmar I actually mechanically enjoy what the spells add. The terrain pieces is here and all there, although it's quite cool to a degree, although some of them are better than others, obviously. And what's really nice about that, and one of my issues maybe sometimes with Soup, to a degree, is, although it makes sense, I like it. We've talked about this before, I like the detachments working together. So that's a by the by, but I quite like the idea of Space Marines turning up, and then they get like a free Space Marine thing, because they're Space Marines. You're like, oh yeah, I get that. Like a drop pod.
Like
You can find a way for you to
Wait a
use
minute.
drop pods.
Like 7 Razorbacks.
No,
I think we've seen this detachment before. It was called Gladius, and it was brilliant.
What do you guys think about it? If you were to get them,
Not again.
I don't particularly like the idea of everybody having a free terrain piece. I've said that about AOS. I'm not a huge fan. Like, I don't mind if they give your army a buff or that they're pointed, but the fact that there's 0 points is basically Games Workshop. I know, obviously, you don't have to buy it. You can buy your own, and you can make your own or whatever. But
out of
effectively, yeah, you can make it out of crystals if you want, if it looks cool. But like, I don't like that because it feels like being forced to have to buy something. Because you already have to buy the book and your army and everything like that, and it's just, you know, Games Workshop have sold a Space Marine player all the Space Marines they can, and they're like, aha, but what about this that you basically need to have to make your army better? I don't like that as a I don't really know what you'd call it, as a thing.
Strategy.
Yeah. It feels like it's something that isn't necessarily designed to make the game more fun. It's designed to make
models.
more money, which I know they're a business and that's what they do. But I will give them money if they make a brilliant game and make units fun and cool. I will buy units, not you write the rules, so I have to buy this thing.
yeah, you'd rather they open loads of cool doors and you'd go running through them, as opposed to them kicking you through a door.
If they make a really cool game and inspire me with,
If they give you an incentive to actually purchase the models, that is
they
actually you enjoying the game rather than I can put this in my army because it's good.
Yeah, I need to make my army optimal, so I need to buy that. I want to be like, oh, that's a fucking cool army idea. I really want to do that and buy those models.
Yeah. Tom? Do Not Days just donated 170 bits. Buy Nikos free Necron terrain.
Pylon.
Yeah, one free pylon for you. Let me just read what the chat is saying, Tom, while you have a think about it. Heinrad says 40k 9th will be just kill team after the fast attack and heavy support expansions hidden in plain sight, as Bell Lost Souls likes to exclaim. Alan Joel says no existing codices supplements will be invalidated, he reckons. Poker John says 40k alternate activations. Acevay says do not day. Star Wars X32 says incoming free terrain.
Oh no.
Stunty says some ready tokens everyone gets to shoot each turn might be okay. Vengeance for Sylvania says sat painting miniatures for the first time since 1996. Thanks for getting me interested. Oh, no problem.
Cheers, man.
That's all right. I can't believe it was us, but I also 100% believe it was us. Endless Phenomenon as
Is that the name for the new psychic power?
that's what
Right.
Santley reckons.
Yeah.
However, Baron Santley reckons Perpetual Psychana.
Yeah.
Interesting. Daikon Stalin says Tower and the spell symbol says the Tsar.
Tower endless spells.
The Sacristan Forge Shrine will be nice for plonking your Vindicators. Well, actually, in AOS, when you don't have Psychers, they now have priests do prayers. So
They have some of that 40k now, though, don't they?
so they have
So
endless prayers. Yeah. So the Forge Shrine would be bad at even 0 points, says Alan Troll.
So would looters.
Imagine how broken the endless spells will be. Eldar endless spells will be, Tom.
Oh
Doom
my
on
God.
everything.
They're going to break it again, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just all it is just one pointy-eared dick with two hands out like this. I'm great.
Pointy-eared penis.
Shit. Stunty says manifestations of the warp. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Endless manifestations, but they'll call it something different because they don't want 40k players to think it's like.
Infinitarium.
Shall we just say all the names on the show so they can't give them any of those names?
Well, they'll have already picked them. That's the point. If they are gonna, that's the point why the leak is so important on Friday. Because if we're 2-3 months away at most from the release, they literally will be prepping now. Like, and they will have written it. It will already be in a box in China, never to be delivered to the UK.
So if we guess the right name and start enough jokes about it, it'll be too late.
Stop the presses.
And then when they release it, they'll be like, fuck.
If we
Then
meme
jokes
now,
about it
If there are
we
any,
can we can future meme.
Pre-meme
If
it.
there are any people in China listening to the show, if you could...
Please
let us
send
know.
us all of the pictures. Thank you, China. Shuma Game says the Forge Shrine is literally something that hurts you. It should be something your opponent has to pay for. There you go. Mr. Kapowski says, I like the OS terrain pieces purely because it puts more scenery on the table, which I also agree with. It does look cool because you're like, there's Gits versus, or whatever it might be. Some of it's better
Does
than
the
others.
Realm of Beasts also look cool?
The Realm of Beasts. No one's ever played in it. It's a wild place where we don't go.
Like a wild joke.
Loads of people are chatting, and everyone seems to be kind of okay with it.
I like the idea of 40k being more like Kill Team.
Yeah.
Because it's been pretty well
You
balanced.
love Kill Team. Why do you love Kill Team so much?
I like Kill Team so much because I've played a lot of multiplayer,
Right.
and that made it really, really exciting multiplayer.
Which is weird because I
and you're
prefer
always-
one-on-one over orgies.
Oh, really?
Just saying.
Okay.
Have you tried both?
Well, it's just because the guys get so touchy and it's just really.
What if you
and
don't involve
I'm
any
not ready.
guys?
And I'm not ready to accept yet that I like it.
What if you... Well,
Well,
apart from,
we're
like,
all about that at James
apart from when
Rachel.
you've got the experimental phase, where you just watch Gachi Muchi music videos.
Even last week. Sorry, carry on, Nick.
Yeah, so the multiplayer games we've had have always been really exciting and quite close. And you always feel engaged in the game. Like, it's not like I have my turn. Like, we also like playing Mordheim, which is I go, then you go, then you go, then you go, then I go again. So sometimes you can have a turn the last 15 minutes, and then it's 45 minutes before it's your turn again. Whereas in Kill Team, in multiplayer, like, you're always involved in the game because you activate one model, then they go, and you constantly swapping activations.
I can't wait to see people with chess clocks try and play that.
What automated activation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Yeah, but is it fun in Kill Team?
Defo, yeah.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and I think
Solid.
it helps balance out the game and makes you think more, oh, shit, if I need to activate this one first or that one first.
I would say that I would much enjoy. I think I would enjoy a different way to play 40k. I don't think I hate the stratagems. I just think what they do is you come to the table with such a preloaded set of things that you're going to do because your units are already picked for the
Well,
stratagems.
you're building around the stratagems.
You're building around the stratagems. I
You're going to
think
be building around something, right?
And that,
Yeah.
that was a point I was going to make earlier about 40k. You guys were talking about, there's certain units, some float to the top, some float to the bottom. That was one of the things that I was necessarily quite disappointed when 40k was re-released because when they did AOS, all the units in the army seemed to have a thing that they did that was unique about them.
Yeah.
Whereas 40k got released and loads of the marine units were just, here's a marine with a bolter, here's a marine squad that can have heavy weapons, here's a marine squad that can have special weapons, here's a marine squad that go really fast.
This is a drop pod, it does nothing.
Yeah, here's a drop pod that does nothing. Whereas I was hoping that they would all sort of be rather generic like that, but then also have one special rule that is unique to that and only that unit.
they've
that you
started to do
can
that a little bit
play
more
around
though.
with.
Do you see the cults? There's quite a lot of there's
Yeah.
at least almost an additional rule on most of the model on most of the data sheets, which I think is kind of cool.
Because that gives you a reason to take those units
Over another
apart
unit.
From over another unit, and not apart from building around the stratagems, which could then synergize with those little unit rules.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I'd like to see more like uniqueness on the data sheets, personally. But I know that there's some dissenting opinion in the chat. Aceface says he doesn't want to see a rule. Matt Lloyd, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that loads. You can see my shoelace minus one to hit. No thanks. He doesn't want that sort of rule in there. That was never really in there though, but that's fine. Free chess clocks in the new starter box, says Dude All Day. Nice.
It's called a watch. And it's like,
Alan Joel says, alternating activations for shooting and fighting, very objective based. Combat modifiers for cover and such. Flesh wounds means it's not just a bullet and die. AOS style where you get CP each turn so you can't Nova in the first turn. That sounds kind of cool. Codex Cabbage, stratagems seemed cool, but once my codex came around, I realised that a lot of the stratagems were just the unit abilities that were stripped off the units and used to have them. That's, I think, what you're saying,
there's
Nick.
currency now for those unit abilities.
Huh?
It's now just a currency for folks.
There is, but then because they're like by taking the currency away from not only what the unit can do inside of the game, times its points or in addition to its points, it's now a separate currency applied to a variety of different
Yeah.
units. So.
Which have varieties of different values based on what you're using. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And there's normally an optimal one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll spend longer with this than I thought, but there we go. It's a cool chat. Thanks, guys. Codex stratagem seemed
The
cool.
longer we can put off this, the happier I am.
But once my codex came around, I realised that a lot of the stratagems were just the unit abilities that was. Oh no, but
you
no,
read
sorry.
them out, yeah.
Every other army has actually different units. It's just a problem with the marine blow and ancient models, says Schumann Games, which I can't. And Matt Lloyd's subscribed for 8 months. He stabbed 8 people, and he's got some 8 months of
He stabbed
BDE.
8
4
people.
pairs of
Yeah,
minis.
8 people he stabbed, but he stabbed a fucker. Give me a prime.
And feelings
Heinrad
of the goats.
says they need to sort out tanks being able to shoot anything from any part of the model, side gun shooting. I don't mind that because I picture them circling.
Yeah, and like
What, just doing your spin? Like
it kind of
is that
represents
Robot
them
Wars?
moving about the table.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily shoot when they stop. They might move across and shoot during the movement.
Yeah. And Alendra was replying to what makes Kill Team different from 40k, but all of those changes sound like something I'd like to see in 40k personally. And auto activation would be a great, but question for Nikos, a bolt action player, how much would it slow down 40k at 1750 points in your opinion?
It might have an effect to slow people down because in bolt action it's a little bit different because you draw randomly out of a dice bag, so it's not alternate. It's not strictly alternate activation. His activation is based on a random draw. It might have an effect to slow things down because people might have indecision paralysis.
Yes.
But once you get used to it and you're used to your army, I don't think it's going to necessarily slow the game down at all.
Okay.
Initially, it will, as people get used to it.
People learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Cool. So Ace has said, "Could you hurry up because we'd like to get to the Eldar Bastion." So I'm ready.
Okay.
But another piece of news though: Space Marine Heroes Season 3 is going to Japan. But what's cool about that is they're now, even though it's called Space Marine Heroes, they have got Death Guard characters in it. Odd, because they're not Space Marines. I don't know if they know their own.
Space Marines.
I don't know if they know their own branding, but well. We'll ignore that.
It's almost like the Game of
They could
Thrones,
change
right?
it to Space Marine Anti-Heroes, and then that would be... no, anyway.
Well,
but,
they're heroes.
yeah, so they've got some... But yeah, exactly. But they've got
Because
some
they're
Death
following
Guard
the true
sculpts
emperor.
going to Japan first only.
Okay.
But then the one Season 2, which was all a lot of Blood Angel stuff, that now is coming to... You're going to be able to get that in the UK soon. So at some point, those Death Guard models are going to turn around into the UK, which is quite cool. It's kind of weird that I like that they've got this odd Pokemon-style release Space Marine thing and 1 billion different Space Marine lieutenants, but it's making me chuckle, which I'm enjoying. So I like it.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's a
I'm
really
not-
odd branding thing that they're doing.
Right.
Like in Japan, they're
It's
just
like the
going.
Pops.
Yeah, it's like that. They're just going. Okay, Japan, 10 sculpts of Space Marines, and then everyone in Japan's like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, how many even players are there in Japan? Who are they selling
They run
these
a
to?
GT, don't they? They have a Rising Sun GT for AOS.
Yes, yeah, they have, but that's again AOS, not Space Marines. Like
Well, they're just trying to get him on that crack, aren't they?
they are trying to get them on that crack. I just like it. I like that it's such a very specific Japanese style marketing thing.
Yeah,
They're like
collect 'em all.
Yeah, 10 Space Marines for you, season 1. Anyway, but I thought it was
That's why
cool.
we're doing an anime for it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should do many animes for it. That would be cool.
And we should be in them.
And also, Ace Face, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that loads. I think someone donated it to him.
Yeah, that's Choco Buddy.
No, Chocobutty gave him a scrub.
Gave him a scrub.
No, he called him a scrub. I think the
And
actual
gave him a
term, if
scrub.
you haven't subscribed to the show, is that you're a shit gut. That was the original term. And we'll stick with it.
So Ace Face, formerly a shit gut.
Formally, but
Formally.
no longer.
Courtesy of. Yeah.
Scribbler says it's the Japanese blind buy and model market. They love model kits of Gundams and stuff. So you could do, I don't know why they don't do Tau Heroes.
Yeah.
They'd be into that.
They'd be so
Yeah.
into that. That seems to be the most obvious sell.
Neon Evangelion theme plays.
Yeah.
There you go.
I wonder if we could get one of the exclusive Space Marine heroes out of a claw machine.
Ooh.
That would be fun. They should have that at Warhammer Fest.
And
100%.
It'd still be cheaper than buying the model.
It would be, but can you imagine loads of
Just
people
keep
trying to
trying
like
on
pick
the
up
car.
like a random Primaris breed or something? That'd be quite fun.
Hey, look, I won another Primaris Lieutenant.
Just full of Primaris lieutenants. Not even surrounded by, like the filler.
Yeah.
No filler. Just a pile of
Primaris
Primaris lieutenants you could grab.
And they'd all be different ones, wouldn't they?
Huh?
They'd all be different ones.
Yeah, they'd all be different. Each one individual.
Hundreds of them.
Hey, Chris, you sexy man. Serbator in the chat and Carmack. All right. So I think that's all of the news. And I think I feel like I've missed something. If it comes up, I'll try and approach it.
Uh-huh.
I don't think... nope. I don't remember what it was.
No.
So we're going to carry on.
Crack
Like
on.
partway drive, we're going to carry on.
Crack on.
So we are now going to do the review or the overview, a quick first glance, an insipid look, a dark meandering into Carmack. Thank you for subscribing. Not into Carmack because that would be a dark road. None of us want to go down.
This is why we're an explicit stream.
We are going to look at the Ynnari codex.
Yeah.
Released inside.
This one.
That's a Space Wolf codex.
It's basically the same thing.
And that's Index Xenos 1.
That's the Ynarri codex.
Right, okay, good.
This is not the Ynarri codex.
Okay, released inside of all things, Tom, I want to get your thoughts on this second. Inside the White Dwarf. Nick, what do you think about a codex released inside of a White Dwarf?
It's a bit of a fuck you to them, isn't it? Really, like they can't. They're like they. It feels like
to go on, right?
they released Ynnari as like this is a cool idea, and then they realised, oh fuck, this is not a good
Can
idea.
I point out they
we don't
released
really know
it
how
at
to.
the same time they released Infinitely Splitting Horrors
What for?
in 7th edition. That's when they released it.
Oh,
It was
okay.
horrendous.
Yeah,
They
during
released
the
That was clear. That was clear. Their
They
LSD
released the
phase, wasn't
bears
it?
to
That was.
catch the coyotes
These were all done
or
on
whatever it
LSD
was.
Fridays, wasn't
No,
it?
no, LSD Fridays. No, this was when they knew that they were deleting the edition.
So
they
they were
literally
like,
released.
just go crazy.
Fuck it, YOLO.
Yeah, they released Ynnari and they released Gulliman, who did the D6. He had the D
was really
D
shit.
sword. He was shit. They released Call. They released
Magnus was
Celestine.
really good.
And then they were like, yeah, Soul Bursting, and also like Maelstrom shit and whatever, man. Just carry on. It was the end times, basically.
But not for the game, for the rules.
For the rules, yeah.
So
Yeah, so they clearly didn't invest. They didn't feel confident enough in it to release a codex for it. But maybe that's just because there's not enough models for them to.
but the models
do a
they've got
codex
are
with it.
cool. Yep.
Well, but would it be that hard to take a bunch of different different Eldar units, paint them up in Ynnari colours, and release them as a book? So if you wanted to collect Ynnari, you as an experienced player, Nick, know that there's no real difference between. There isn't. Like, there's no real difference between the Eldar book and the Ynnari book. Realistically, like from model range, like 4 or 5 models at most.
It's free.
But my point is they could have done a whole bunch of. They could have really expanded the story, and I'm assuming they've done that in White Dwarf, Tom.
There's some story. I didn't read it.
I don't think they've done much.
There's
There's like a timeline. Yeah, there's a timeline.
Now,
And
here's the thing. So me and Nicholas have both got copies.
Yeah.
I've got the subscribers edition with the nice artwork on the front.
Nice.
Of the Yvrain, the cat lady.
We can see
Nikos
that.
has
Yeah.
got his with the Yunkan on it.
Yeah.
And even though I've got the special Ynarri version, there's fucking Fire Slayers on the back. Why are there Fire Slayers on my codex?
It's not your codex; it's a magazine.
It's my codex.
It's your magazine. Sorry, bro.
Codex.
it's not a codex.
It's
man.
not a codex. You're correct. So
I think you moved my camera loads. It's
Have
fine.
I?
I was,
Oh,
like,
sorry.
I was like, have I moved? No, it's okay. Don't worry.
that's fine. Okay. Get rid of
Yeah, it's actually a magazine. Has it got a painting section in it?
Probably.
And what does it tell you how to paint?
So we've got a section with a Stomper in it, another unit I haven't seen in a while. Some G-Stealer cards in here, there's some video games. There's a
Hey, Big Goldfish, hope you're well.
Black Library
I just want to say,
section with
while
an
we're
Armory
here, I
Man.
just want to say thank you to
Look, they've
Chris for subscribing for 16 months in a row. Loads of love.
They do a section on converting on Gundabad orcs where they put some green stuff on someone's face.
Heinrad says the Story and Codex is basically a rewritten Gathering Storm 2.
They've done some
do I
electronic paintings of Ynnari,
Oh,
great.
nice. Okay.
but then they've done like a photo shoot with models
Yeah.
where they've got the red incubi that they did for the 8th edition release Ynnari.
Yeah, Gathering
But
Storm.
then just a load of random stuff behind them that isn't painted to be Ynnari. Just like, oh, there's some Harlequins there as well. Oh, and then there's some Banshees there as well.
This man scares me.
So, a Big Goldfish, thank you for
both
subscribing for 40 months. Having those. By the way, Nick.
Why
Nick,
are incubi in there? You
Nick,
can't-
FYI, Heinrad, who's our man on the ground, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Those pictures actually aren't even new. They're from the Gathering Storm
Oh,
2,
really?
just reprinted in that
So
magazine.
they've actually, in
Oh,
the picture
dear.
they've done here, they've put some units in there that can't actually be.
Yeah, they've
in a
put Jane Czar in there.
and incubi who can't benefit from the thing unless you use a stratagem.
Yeah.
Shuma Games points out, and I think this is fair, that
They didn't
codexes
do that
exist
before.
on smartphones, the books are a thing you buy once.
Oh, look, they put some.
In some cases, never.
Soft core porn in my magazine.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
Do you mean there's a woman in there? Because if you're gay, most of the 40k books are full of softcore porn.
Yes. Oh yes. All right. So there's a model that's been sprayed black and got some blue teeth. I've been a subscriber of this for 16
Okay,
years.
so that's the review. The Codex review is that it's a
There's
magazine.
some AOS in it.
There's some- That's a great way. They should do that in that next AOS battle tome. They should just put some 40k in it, and you're like, what?
Get this shit out! We call that narrative, right?
Okay, all right. So the narrative of the Gathering Storm is that there was a god of death. So it's quite a big deal
I know this
narratively in
narrative.
40k. That the god of death was created by by the craft worlds. All of the souls that's stored inside of a craft world decimated and then fed to create the god of death.
Was it the Infinity Matrix
Yeah,
broke?
There's the story goes, and it's a bit like if spoilers for the
After the Rana Dandra.
for the end, not the end game, but the one before that.
So there's meant to be
Infinity War.
There's meant to be this massive Eldar battle called the Rana Dandra, and then when the last Eldar is fallen, it's going to spawn this Eldar god of death called Ynarri, who's going to kick the crap out of Slaanesh. But I believe there's something of the Gathering Storm, I don't know because I've lent the book out, where Eldrad thought he could spawn the god of death without killing all the Eldar.
That's what Eldrad's doing, basically. He's trying to bring forth... he's doing the thing where he goes, I've seen 14 million options and there's one way we can win. So that's Eldrad. So Eldrad's effectively trying to stop the demise and the eventual destruction of the Eldar. So he created the god of death. The Foretold, and also he had some followers in that. The Yvrain and
The Visarch?
and the Visarch, yes.
The Wizard.
The Visarch. Are you a Visarch?
It was Infinity War, yeah, that's when it was. So it's effectively the Infinity War. The God of Death was created by an accident when a stupid Death Watch Marine ruined Eldrad's plans. Yvrain was created, found some swords, made Gulliman better than Games Workshop forgot the Ynarri existed, and they had new Prime Marines to play with, is another version of the story. Dr. Eldrad. It's Dr. Eldrad, I presume. So that's the story going in, and then because of this, now, because the God of Death exists, it's actually impactful narratively, because the God of Death exists for Eldar, whereas previously their souls could either only go inside of a craft world, be eaten by Slaanesh, or be tortured forever in a perpetual existence if you're Drukhari, or you could join the circus. And you could float around wearing fancy clothes, and flip belt in your way. Now, finally, over troops
units.
again,
But not over buildings.
but not over buildings.
What would you guys choose?
Clown.
Yeah, circus.
I join the
100%.
circus
100%.
all the time.
Tom?
Tom?
I didn't know the law.
Come on, which one would you choose? Of the three
genuinely
factions, to protect yourself... the four factions... to
Perpetual
protect-
torture of other people.
and yourself sometimes.
Well, it depends if you like it.
Well, that's the point of Drukhari. Sometimes they do. They're very close to Slaanesh. That's their point is that
Bring me my sex dungeon.
sometimes it will be bring me my sex dungeon and Tom. So you've got to watch out. Yeah.
All right, cool. Rules?
Yes, that's
So,
the story.
I've been reading.
So, no, hold on. During that time, then, they also released 3 new models.
They
Yeah.
were released at the in like March 2017.
Yeah, but no, I know they're not released now, but I'm saying that's what differentiates them from the other
yes,
factions.
So we've got the Yvrain, the Yunkan, and the Visarch.
Yes, and you used to be able to buy it as a triplet, but now I think you buy them individually.
I don't know. Got them
And don't you think the Incarn looks kind of Slaaneshi with her horn?
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
all Eldar looks like Slaaneshi.
Oh, right.
Slaanesh was birthed from elves, so it's
Right.
actually Slaanesh looks
Eldari.
Eldari,
Right,
as opposed
okay.
to the other way around. Yeah.
So I've got a quote to start because I've been listening because the series is a shit show to the Game of Thrones: A Song of Ice and Fire books on Audible. You can check it out via our affiliate link.
2 things, I've read them. Third thing, it's not a shit show. Fourth thing, I'd like Tormund to be my dad.
Same.
But
He's everyone,
and also my best friend.
he's everyone's dad.
Yeah. Bring me the big woman.
There's a big woman here.
But so, carry
A
on.
long summer means an even longer winter. We just
Yeah.
had 2 years of Ynnari dominance.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get 3 years of absolute shithousery.
Oh, no. So, quick TLDR. Yeah. On the rules for the Ynnari, what they were before, complete shit show. And horrible to play against and terrible. And now they
A
are...
complete shit show, horrible to play with.
Yay.
All things in life,
The
they say,
universe is
gain
in balance.
Yeah, gain
So
balance.
you'll use craft worlds instead. Yes.
Fuck.
So-
They're quite good still.
So, army composition rules. You can include one Ynnari character in any craft world, Harlequin, or Drakari detachment if your army is battleforged.
Okay.
So if you want all three, you have to have 3 detachments.
All 3.
What?
You sometimes don't enunciate your so
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, there aren't any free detachments, are there?
there's no free detachment.
No, you
Free.
have to pay for them
Free.
somehow.
3?
Are you doing 3?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
3? I thought we sounded the same, whatever. All right.
Tom, you are such a sweetheart.
I just
Like
don't know what the fuck
all
we're
the
doing.
time, you turn up, and then once every I don't know. It's quite quarterly now. You'll just get a roasted. Like your Ynnari codex will come
Alright,
out.
fine,
The
whatever.
fucking USA team will win the ETC. Like it's just a. But you'll win
I
the
like
hobby
how-
awards.
I like how you have to go now, Ynnari Codex, to 7 months ago, winning a major based off hobby scores, to like 4 months before that.
Yeah,
USA
that's what I
winning
said. I
an
said
event.
every 6 months or
Congratulations,
so.
we've got yeah, there you go. It's like a big FAQ. Once every 6 months, Tom gets a roasting. I'll take 1 L every 6 months. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. So, and this is on the condition that those detachments can't have in them any named characters apart from the Ynarri one.
Eldrad.
Mandrakes.
Dr. Eldrad.
The Avatar, who's also a named character, but never mind.
Yeah.
Solitaires, and any homunculus coven units,
Okay.
which is really big. And then you can choose to either leave that detachment as the Craft Worlds, Harlequins, or Drakari detachment,
Yeah.
in which case the Ynari character becomes a part of that detachment, but it doesn't gain any benefit from a detachment rules or anything like that.
Okay, bruv. I'm in.
Or you can make them a Ynari detachment, in which case you now forget that they were ever Craft World, Harlequin, or Drakari, and they now have access to only the Ynari strats, traits, relics.
Because narratively, they do literally give up their allegiance, so that makes sense. And
They're
also,
reborn.
yeah.
So you take their usual Craft World keyword, which is the Craft Worlds.
I just want to say 245 bits have been donated by Hook and Pin specifically to you, Tom.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is that to rebuild my other army?
Yeah.
So that's either as you take the Craft Worlds attachment and you make Craft Worlds keyword and you call them Reborn Asayani. You take the Cabal keyword or the Witch Cults keyword or the Harlequins keyword and it's Reborn Drakari or Reborn Harlequin. You also can't use the Eldar psychic powers on these units anymore
Or stratagems.
because you need
Yes.
but you can use Doom on another unit, and then if you have a Craft Worlds detachment that became Ynari, they don't lose their Asayani keyword.
So you can still
So
do
you
it.
can still.
Yeah, I was looking at that last night, and I was thinking,
But you
can
forgot to replace
they still
Asayani.
use Doom? Yeah, and I
They
was like,
forgot to
yeah.
remove Asayani.
'Cause
It only,
Like it
it only
says-
specifies. So normally you'd be able to use all of them, but it specifies you can't use the psychic powers on them.
So, yeah, so you can't. The detachment can't use them. Just say they
On
can't
the
benefit from
Craft
them.
World,
Yeah,
the
so
formerly Craft World units.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can use them on the enemy unit and then get the bonuses.
yeah.
Yeah. Aceface says that this is like a beautiful lullaby listening to the new rules. It makes me happy inside.
Shut up, Ace. You play Lewis.
And
Find a good
Heaven's
unit.
Teeth says loopholes. Let's go.
Good loophole.
Loopholes all day.
This is why I'm here, bro.
Dunade has donated 350 bits to rebuild Tom's Eldar fund.
Yay.
What an angel.
I'll
Thank
buy
you.
some Necrons.
Yeah.
Cool. So troops get a rule called Reclaim the Galaxy, which is effectively objective secured. If you want to know what that means, you can go and check out our handbook on the Honest War Game website.
Okay. Yeah, Q terms.
Got 'em. Also, beasts, incubi, and scourge units can be included in your Ynari detachment, but they won't gain the strength from death special rule. Now, this is the absolutely cornerstone of the Ynari army,
Yeah,
This
previously.
is what
which
makes them
allows
good.
you to soul burst.
Yeah, it's been which has been FAQ'd
So-
approximately 432 times since its
To
inception.
try and nerf it into oblivion.
Yeah.
So before, you could take a unit, you could move it again, shoot it again, you
Fight
could
it
cast another
again.
Psychic power. Yeah, you could
You
fight
could
it
play
again.
2 games.
Yeah, you literally could play
the
3
same
games.
time as your opponent's playing.
You could
one.
fire your entire army twice if you really wanted to. It was brilliant.
It was
Now-
brilliant.
And
So
are
much
you,
fun
are
to
you,
play
are
against,
you ready
wasn't
for
it?
the cornerstone?
I'm ready.
In a turn in which a unit was killed, all of your units get +1 to hit with melee weapons and fight at the same time as charging units.
Oh my God, that
Now,
sounds brilliant.
I don't know about you, but which Eldar units are in combat for more than one turn?
Wow. I fought against
Loads now, Tom. Fuck 'em.
my friend Paul. He's got some Howling Banshees, and when they get
Which always
and when
fight
they
first.
when they get out their Wave Serpent and they charge me and they hit me with their Strength 3 power swords,
Now,
and then I punch them back with some Marines.
now,
Yeah.
There's going to be a few
so,
left.
here's what I'm doing. I'm taking my Talos.
Yeah.
I'm lobbing them into the enemy lines.
Yeah.
You can't have
I'm living.
Talos. You can't have
That's a
Talos.
punch. That's a fucking punchline. You just
Okay.
ruined it.
Sorry.
You ruined it.
Go on, what is it?
You take your Talos, you lob them into the enemy lines.
Yeah.
You are charging, so you get the bonus anyway.
Yeah.
You then fight in the enemy turn, but you won't have killed anything in the enemy turn.
Yeah.
So you don't get the strength from death anyway.
Yeah.
And when you get to your turn, and then you can kill something and fight as if you charged with +1 to hit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't get homunculus covered units in your Ynarri detachments
Well, so what Ynnari units are good at fighting?
for multiple turns.
For any turns.
Shining spears, but only on the first turn they hit because they're strength 6 and strength 3.
But can't you murder something in the shooting phase and then kill it, then get the +1 to hit in the combat phase?
Yeah, but the entire point of shining spears is that they go forward and one-shot something anyway.
So you don't really need the bonuses.
The only bonus that you're really getting is a +1 to hit with melee, so you're hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s potentially.
Maybe it makes a shitty unit better.
But the problem is now
What about like Wraith Guard or Wraith Lords or
What about
Wraith Knights?
an avatar?
You can't have an avatar.
Ah.
Yeah, I know. We're taking other good units.
What about Wraith Knight?
Harlequins?
But don't Harlequins just die? They're not very durable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also, the better beta bottle rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking absolutely brilliant for murdering 142 point individual clowns.
So the shining spears kill stuff harder.
Yeah.
But they also only move 44 inches.
Yeah.
Only
Did you say
44.
only?
Only 44
Yeah, they move
inches.
very fast.
No, they don't. They move very slowly.
Yeah.
That's a 22 inches you're losing.
So some people are making some suggestions in the chat. Witches, incubi, archons, and succubi.
Are witches there to kill things or to tie stuff up with a 4+ invulnerable save?
Witches can kill things. They've got a hell of a lot of attacks.
But is
haven't
that
they?
what you're taking them for?
I've only played against witches once, and that's kind of what he had them for. He had like 2 big blocks of witches,
Okay, how many attacks do they have?
like 4 or 5 each. Something ridiculous.
I'd be taking them so that I could dress up as Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and then consistently tell people that I'm also a witch. But
Right.
I don't think that's an in-game effect.
It might be. I mean, Brad Glover turned up with a bunch of
it might
hats
have
and
a-
won lots of soft scores.
Yeah,
It works.
could have an effect on your opponent.
Okay, all right. Me in a Sabrina the Teenage Witch outfit.
Yeah, particularly if you dressed up as had a wig.
Please
and
picture
had
that
a
in your
wig
heads
and
as you're going to
everything.
sleep tonight, or
We
while you're
should
driving
we
to
should
work.
just do a team tournament unless they're dressed in drag. It'd be alright. Okay.
We will be taking
So
a bits
now,
donation for that one
I'm
day.
gonna be doing-
1 million bits.
I'm going to be doing a rundown of every unit in this book.
There's 3.
I know. So, Yvrain is completely unchanged.
Oh yeah, wait, hold on. Pokey John says Hellions
What about Hellions?
Which ones are Hellions? Are they
on the little 2-seaters.
The
They're
surfer
the green
board,
goblins. Yeah.
Surfer board.
Did they get an invulnerable save in combat?
No. And they've got no AP on their attacks. They're like strength 4, damage 2.
What about against orcs?
The only benefit I think you're ever getting with these things is that you get a +1 to hit.
Yeah, that's
You're
what
not
I'm
going to be
saying.
sticking in combat most of the time.
Plus 1 to hit's cool.
It'd be way
In
better
melee.
if it was like +1 to hit, +1 to wound. That'd be nice.
At least you can
But
fly
it's
over
not.
units now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Hellions actually.
Loki says that I could do drag no problem, but I need to shave my beard, so I'm out.
You could just cover it up like 4 lions.
Yeah, but
Twelve
everyone's
bullets,
generally
please.
quite excited about it.
I bet they are.
So Dark Elven, I get +1 to hit on turn 2 anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bit like, yeah, what's the benefit
When
for
you
them?
go through the -1 to hit of Plague Bearers.
What about the future meta of -2 to hit close combat of 9th edition 40k? Because of all the endless psychic powers. You see what you're not seeing inside that magazine that's your codex.
Fuck off.
The people who wrote this, they know what's coming. They know Night's coming around, and they've written this
And yet they nerfed
to be
looters.
specifically good.
Another advantage is that your codex was cheaper than everyone else's codex. Have you thought about
I
that?
spent £55 on 3 models and you're telling me my army is cheaper.
Your army's so cheap. £55, a £5 codex, 60 quid and you're in. No endless spells and no scenery piece.
And then all you need to buy is the Drakari Codex, the Harlequin Codex, and the Craftworld Codex as well.
And then you've done it.
And then all the models.
Yeah. To be fair, though, you don't have to buy the Drakari Codex because you're not allowed to take the good bits of it, so you're fine.
No, this is true. Unless you want to take witches for some reason.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch cosplay. So please, Tom, please tell us what's inside of the book.
Yvrain they've changed nothing apart from they've renamed the You Needs Will special rule to Revered Figurehead, which means you can get in transports. Amazing. You could always do that. Then you've got the Visarch,
Like
who
Inquisitor.
is also
Picture
known
face.
as that cool Archon replacement.
But he looks cool.
He's got a nice model. Unfortunately, his rules aren't very good.
Agreed.
He's what he reminded me when I was reading his rules. He reminded me of like a vampire, like an AOS vampire, because he kind of like gets wounds back for people dying around him.
Yeah, he does.
Well, so do all of these characters.
They're effectively soul vampires. Yeah.
So
Like Edward Cullen, but mixed with James Brown.
So the second unit, I don't know what this is.
Have you seen Twilight?
Fuck off! I've seen Twilight.
And have you listened to James Brown?
Who's James Brown?
He's like a black
Wow.
gospel singer.
A whole bunch of people, someone driving their car right now, has just started hitting his steering wheel and screaming. He's like, how do you not know who James Brown is? He's a musician.
Is he a musician?
Yeah, he made music.
Musicians make music.
Yeah.
I see.
Yes.
All right.
Everyone in the chat, could you let us know how you feel about Tom not knowing who James Brown is? Hold on, we've got some... Before you move on, do you mind me just quickly getting some feedback on this one? Ace Face has said something about a glass to catch salty tears.
I don't play Eldo anymore.
There you go, Tom.
Is that full of energy drink?
I don't want to say what that's for.
The big goldfish, Tom could save more cash by making models from, I don't know, a small aubergine.
I could probably do that.
Yeah.
Could you cover it in PVA to solidify it?
Shumi Game says, well, we'll get to that in a bit because that's a bit of a spoiler. 9th edition Eldar will get +3 strength and 2+ invulnerable save to balance new edition. Correctly says Dude, so that's fine. And Loki says, honest gamer, do you know how much a heavy weapons team for Renegades and Heretics costs? It works out as £2 a point. Only their 14-point models. Fucking Christ. That's expensive.
It sounds like Met Guns, where it's almost £1 a point.
Datcom, by the way, laughed a lot and then he wrote Soul. And the trick of what he says, all in caps, how can you not know who James Brown is?
Oh, well, look.
And the True Soul Caller says, I'm in shock. It won't matter. You won't. Googling him will do nothing if you've never already heard of him.
We can edit this out, it's fine.
Okay. And then Woolen King says, who's James Brown?
Are you sure that's a man?
James Brown?
I'm looking at him.
He's probably one of the most manly of men.
Have you seen his hairdo? He looks like Oprah with a bigger chin. Look at him. Look at the state of that.
Can we move on? Because I feel
Yeah,
we're in all sorts of radio trouble here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So the Visarch.
Yes, sir.
Wait, we'll leave us select pause.
The Visarch is a space
Yeah,
vampire.
a second.
Yeah.
There we go.
Also,
Can edit that out now.
Also, Loki is like, your comment on hair, Tom. Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a specialist. So, the Visarch is exactly the same as he was before, except now he's got a 4++ in save, so a 4+ invulnerable save, a force shield, I believe it's called.
Yep.
And he now gives out rerolls ones to hit in melee
Nice.
for Ynarri units when
Nice.
he's just walking across the battlefield
Yep.
because reasons.
Yeah, he can go into transport.
Yeah, but he's not giving out that in transport, is he?
Yeah, but he gets out the transport and charges
But
at
now
his
he's just
enemies
stood there,
with
just going,
his...
go, Power
gaze.
Rangers.
Yeah.
He's also gone down
he's,
21
he's
points.
pretty decent in the combat, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a bit of a beast in combat.
What does he do, Nick? Tell me.
He has 5 attacks that
Wow.
hit on 2s,
Basically hit all of them.
rerolling 1s, just in case
You
you
know, he
miss.
hits on ones with Soul Burst.
And then, there you go.
Value
And then
town.
his strength 5, AP 3, damage D3. And
Rerolling ones.
enemy units suffer casualties as a result of attacks made by this weapon, so extract 1 from the leadership until the end of the turn.
So there's a lot of leadership modifiers in this book.
There you go.
Then
Have you never run a bravery debuff army?
Well, you can do now. So you take this guy, you take a bunch of there's a lot of bravery debuffs in these stratagems as well. Then you take Hemlock Wraith Fighters. Then you take Grizzly trophies on Drakari vehicles.
Yeah.
You just mash their leadership.
Yeah. Have you never actually run into a unit of Orc boys and
I have
reduced their
leadership
leadership
30.
by? Yeah, but have you not reduced it by 3?
Oh yes, and now
Have you seen the difference? Have you seen what that does?
Nothing.
And then you
Takes
know
him
all
down
that.
to bravery 27.
And then you do. You know what the power armor Marines? Have you never run into those packs of 10 of them and killed 3? Only 3 though, so that you can reduce their leadership by 3.
And then they use a Nation on no fear and just re-roll it anyway.
Have you never done that?
No. There's a
Do you just choose killing them instead as an
I
option?
mean, it works sometimes.
It's weaker.
Yeah.
But okay.
And then Beyond Carn's Unchanged, we just split up its teleporty rule into 2 separate rules now. So with stratagems, we've got...
So could you can't charge now when she teleports? Could you charge before?
No.
No.
You could heroically intervene.
Oh, okay.
I have a question from the chat.
Go for
It says, can you let us know when we get to the strong stuff? I don't want to get too excited too soon.
Can someone go get me a beer? Something strong, please. And then I'll let him know when I'm
This
finished.
is like when we did the Necron Codex review. Only Tom, you are taking it a bit better. Nick was genuinely like,
I mean,
fuck
I'm
this.
fully aware that for the last 2 years I've had my fun.
Yeah, 2 years is a good amount of
Yeah,
time.
it's a good slog.
Yeah, all right, okay, go for it.
There we go. So, stratagems. You got the one where you can get more relics.
Stratagems.
Standard.
Look how many stratagems you got. You got more than demons.
You got way
No.
more than demons.
You do, but it doesn't mean they're any good. So, the first one is the best one in the entire book, in my opinion. After
Yes.
a relic one. It is called... I can't remember what it's
Whispering
called.
Spirits.
Whispering Spirits.
Whispering
So you spend 2
Spirits.
command points
Yeah.
and says -2 leadership for a unit you're in combat with for 2 CP. Fucking hell.
For 2 CP.
Yeah, you minus that leadership by
Do you know
2.
what I'm very excited about?
Combo that
is
with
if
a Visarch in combat.
-3
minus
leadership.
3.
You've got those orcs down to -3 leadership.
For 2 CP and a Visarch.
Yeah, but if you hold on, I'm being serious for a second. If you did kill 10, they'd be at bravery 20, right? Just hear me out. Unless they're near another unit, in which case this is not worth talking about. Now they're at -3 bravery.
I think it's -1 leadership for each model you kill, right?
No, it's just if enemy units are suffering any casualties.
My
it's minus
goodness.
So
one.
then you're close enough that if they rolled a 6, one would run away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Think about
strong.
that. For 2 CP.
no,
pretty
I
strong.
did lie. That's not my favourite stratagem. It's my second favourite stratagem. My favourite stratagem is you can spend 2 CP to advance and charge a biker unit.
Hold on,
And this is why it's my favourite, because I've been doing that already for a year.
For free.
Well, no, because remember at London GT when I used the advance and charge stratagem every game for 2 CP rather than 1?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
So,
back in here.
they've doubled the price of it.
No, well, yeah.
Well, it's
Ynarri.
a new stratagem, but there's
It does the same
cost of
thing as the
distance.
Simon one.
Oh, right, but it costs
But
2
it's 2
CP.
CP, like I originally did at the London GT.
So what we're thinking is that the Samhain one won't go up to 2 CP.
Well, I mean, I'm just
Maybe.
prescient. I thought it was 2 CP.
That's also good. That's
Yeah.
also good. There's a good point from Loki. Elite armies, like Custodes, it is nice to, especially, didn't you say last week that you felt that Custodes bike squads could return?
That could be okay. The issue is, okay, you've killed 1 Custody, -3 leadership, that's 4 on the leadership. Now you need to roll like a 6 to lose another 1 bike.
No, so I think they're leadership 8.
Oh, they leadership 8. I thought
So-
they
so-
were leadership 9.
Then probably let's say it's 9 for math's sake. So that takes them down to a 6. They lose 1. So if they roll a 5 or a 6, one more's running away.
You need to beat the leadership, so you lose 1, -3.
6, 7. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you,
a
need to,
6.
you need to roll a 6 to lose a guy.
But if you kill 2.
But there's more stacking. There's more stacking.
Oh, okay, no problem. We can do it. We can get them below 3. Okay.
So that also isn't my favourite stratagem. That's actually my second favourite stratagem. My
Okay.
favourite stratagem is, for 1 CP, you can get a +1 to hit. So you select a Craft World unit,
Yeah.
a Harlequin unit, and a Drakari unit.
Nice.
In one fight phase, they all benefit from Soul Burst for 1 CP. So now you need a Craft World 1, a Drakari 1, and a Harlequin 1
Who are all going to go into combat.
at the same time
But they also get to all strike first. All of
because
them.
they're charging.
Because they're charging. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
It's a bit of an unnecessary.
is there a range on that? Or it's just any...
You just pick 3.
Okay. What about...
3 for the price of 1.
yeah, what about a Wave Serpent with +1 to hit? What are you saying now? Hit on 5s.
It's already hitting on 5s.
Hit on 4s.
4s.
Do you know what I mean? Hit on
And, you,
4s.
and,
No,
you
it
could,
might be
and
on
if you have your
6s.
Visarch nearby, he's rerolling 1s. What's that,
Basically.
3 attacks,
Well, I see.
strength
3
6,
attack, strength 6.
No AP, 1 damage.
I think my hitting on 6s actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't charge even very much. And if I do, I'm tagging stuff.
Could FAQ whether you need to pick one or each or up to one of each?
No, you have to
use
pick
it?
all 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
select 1. one.
Pick one of each.
Yeah.
See that is absolutely next to useless.
It's like the lion and the wolf stratagem from Space Wolf and Dark Angels.
But it's cool that you've got it. What's it called as a stratagem?
It's called United in Death.
Do you know what I really like about this?
Quite ironic because this is the death of Ynarri, isn't it?
Yeah, Games Workshop made it quite clear that they truly don't give a fuck about this faction. They're like, could we do less? The only way they could do less is do what they did for the Chaos Imperial Knights. Not Imperial Knights, the Chaos Knights.
Well, we're doing a book for that.
Well, they're now doing a book for it. But originally they were like, new Imperial Knights. Everyone was like, what about Chaos Knights? They were like, oh, fuck, yeah, they have them.
Have a PDF with like a really shitty rule, like -1 leadership.
So, Tom, maybe this is an indication that you are going to get an actual codex at some point.
Yeah, it's called Craft Worlds. It's much better.
So what's the next
The
stratagem
next
I can
one
use?
is you can get rerolls to wound against an enemy unit in the fight phase for 2 CP.
So basically, it's Doom, but in a stratagem.
Yeah.
In combat.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
The next
alright.
one is you can get +3 to a psychic test for a Ynnari character if you've destroyed an enemy unit this phase for 1 CP. So you need a bunch of other psychers to smite something to death. And then you need another psyker to use this.
I think the disappointing thing that is, it says unit, isn't it? If it was just models, then
then you can
that
use
might be
executioner,
useful. That
really
might be
good.
useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So remember how we had the 2 CP for -2 leadership earlier?
Yeah.
Now you can get +2 leadership for a Ynnari unit that's within 6 inches of another Ynnari unit for 1 CP.
Taking many battle shot tests, are you, Tom? Like any leadership checks on your Eldar? Do you tend to find in 40k that
feel
your
like-
units are either dead or alive?
I feel like I'm spending 1 CP to get +2 leadership. I'm spending 2 CP to pass my morale check.
Yeah. unless that can guarantee that you can't fail. It'd be cheaper if you can guarantee that you can't fail.
Yeah.
Do you know what I really like
only
is when they put fire sails on the back, they were like, a book for space elves, but have you thought about land dwarves? Because...
You see this game? It's shit. Play this. Play some Fire Slayers. There you go.
Please continue. I'm having so much
There you
fun.
go.
Yeah.
I'll let me just put my wallet down here so this doesn't fall over so everyone can appreciate the true glory.
Yeah.
Remember how we had that stratagem earlier where you could pick 3 units and they get +1 to hit in the fight phase?
Yeah.
Well, now you can pick 3 units of Incubi for 2 CP and they all get strength from death, which is effectively +1 to hit in this fight phase.
They really want you to have to +1 to hit. Like, they super want you to have +1 to hit in the
All
fight
melee.
phase.
All of it is melee.
Yeah, well, it's
And then
good because
okay.
40k often comes down to those melee units
Well, let's
doing really
list
well.
some melee units in the
Well,
Elba
my
book
experience
that
it is.
aren't homunculus covens.
Yeah.
Rax, Hellions, Striking Scorpions, Howling Banshees, Shining Spears, Harlequin things.
Yeah,
Wow.
rude that you don't know they're called troops, but that's fine.
No, you've got the Solitaire and all that.
Yeah,
nonsense.
he's not allowed to go in there though, is he? Solitaire
Is
character.
he a named character?
Yeah, no, they said you
It
said you read it
specifically
out.
says no
Yeah, no
solitaire.
solitaire.
That sucks. Well, that's even worse, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next one is +1 to hit for a wound in melee when it shoots a unit to death.
But-
You're already getting a +1 to hit because you've got Soul Burst because you just killed a unit. So unless you're hitting on 4s, which no one is.
Good.
Okay, next you have Webway Portal, which
Yeah.
we all know what that does.
Yeah.
Then you can get an extra Warlord trait. Then you have an actual good one. I've got it
Pikachu
written
face.
down as get back up Bobby G style for 2 CP
Nice.
on a character.
I don't think I read that, and I don't think it's that good because a lot of those things that say you get back up, it's at the end of the phase, which means if you die in
Hold
the
on,
shooting
JD
phase,
Esquire's making a point that that United in Death is +1 attacks, not +1 to hit. So
Oh,
you can
yeah,
have +1
yeah.
attack and
Did I read
oh
that
yeah,
out right?
what is that? A taste for death? Yeah, oh no, yeah, add 1 to hit and
Yeah, and
for
attacks.
attacks.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
Oh, it's just,
United in Death is down
that's,
this one.
oh, United
yeah, yeah.
Death, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's correct.
Yeah, the
+1
+1
attacks.
attack thing is
But
quite
either way,
good.
it's still situational though, isn't it? Right? You need to you have to shoehorn yourself in, and then also you have to have 3 Ynnari units of those types.
And then if
so
you-
you need to take the Yunkarn for 1 detachment, the Vizark for another detachment, the Yvrain for another detachment.
Yeah.
Fill out those detachments, get all 3 units from those detachments in combat at the same time, and then
Yeah.
use it.
And then if
but,
you just had 1 like Asiani unit, and if it was dead, your opponent kills it, then you can't use that stratagem.
but have you ever taken a lady with a cat into battle?
No, because I never glued the cat on top of my Yvrane.
What? It's not on top, it's to the side.
I mean, I'd sell it on eBay first. It looks like
The
you
little
might actually
cat?
wanna buy it, yeah.
I was thinking something actually.
Put in a little handbag.
I probably should say this off air, so I'll talk quietly so everyone can't hear. Okay. You know when we go to the heats.
Yeah.
I think actually there's a market. So you know the tags that we get where it says like
Number 12.
Yeah, no, not that bit, but the actual lanyard.
Oh yeah.
I reckon people buy them on eBay. You know.
I thought you had to give them back.
No, you'd have to give them back.
You can do.
You
They-
can
They
give them back.
encourage you to.
They encourage you to.
Yeah.
Fuck
they can
that.
recycle it.
What I'm saying is what we should do next time we go to the heat is just collect them all up and then sell them on eBay.
I've still got a big pile. I should probably give them back.
No, we should sell
Who's
them on
going to
eBay.
buy that?
People will buy them.
Americans.
The one I've got that says Warhammer Championship looks pretty cool. And I was like, I reckon people will buy that.
You can use that to get into the museum.
No, yeah, but not on a non-day.
No, that's true.
But I'm just reckoning that there's a market there. I was just thinking that yesterday as I was looking at one. I was like,
But that's a good shout there, Tom. Keep your lanyard.
and then when there's a
And then when there's
tournament.
no tournament, you can just go to the
Swagger
museum
in
for
the
free.
museum, yeah.
Yeah, all right, but just FYI, don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
But that's because we could literally go, oh, are you going home? Like, yeah, like, can I have your lanyard? Because I
Forgot mine.
got a friend who's got a kid who really likes lanyards.
He runs a lanyard collection. It's like stamps of the 21st century.
Anyway, I reckon you could sell them for like a tenner.
Yeah.
And if we collected 100,000 pounds.
But £100,000? A tenner equals a grand confirmed. Quick maths.
And Loki
Yeah.
says, by the way, oh, thanks for rumbling, but he's been doing that for ages. I've been getting into the
really?
exhibit for free for a long time on that.
Well, we fucking
Smart,
ruined it now.
smart.
Sorry, Loki, I apologise. I didn't know that was a grift.
Whoopsie. So yeah, but Bobby G style is get back up in a 4+, and with D3 wounds, you can only use it once on a character per battle, and it can only be biker or infantry characters, so you can't use it on the young Khan.
And what does it do?
Get back up in a 4+ with D3 wounds.
But it doesn't say when, so I presume it's immediately, which I think makes that
Yeah,
worse
so
than others.
use this stratagem when an Ynnari infantry or Ynnari
Is
biker
destroyed.
character from your army is destroyed.
Because a lot of other ones similar to that say like at the end of the
Well,
phase.
it works on things like Vindicators if you're set behind a line.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is that it's not at the end of the phase; it's
Yeah, I know.
immediately, which makes it worse than those ones. Because if it says at the end of the phase, you die at the start of the shooting phase, and then you live until the end of the shooting phase and get back up, and then you're safe from shooting. Whereas
Nice.
If you
Good
die at the
spot.
start of the shooting phase, you get back up and then you get shot again.
So it is even more worse than it's written.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Nice.
But we've only got 5 left, so we've got one.
Tom,
which
quick
is-
reaction to that?
I mean, it's got a use, which is more than can be said for the rest of his shite.
Please continue.
Good.
This is great.
So, fifth from last stratagem called the Great Enemy for 1 CP.
This is how I felt when I couldn't fly.
Yeah, I know. At least I've got tools. So, a unit can reroll to wound in the fight phase against Slanesh units for 1 CP.
Yeah.
Yay. But you got fire and
They
flame.
have got released a whole bunch of new Slanesh units. They're going to be fairly popular now.
I mean, they'll kill you before you do anything, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, fire and fade, but it's 2 CP, is in here as well. Fall back and shoot and charge, aka feigned retreat, is now called a deadly misdirection for 2 CP.
Uh-huh.
Then you have permanent soul burst on the death of your opponent's warlord for 1 CP.
Please don't do that to me.
So kill your enemy warlord, everyone gets soul burst for the rest of the game for 1 CP.
Yes.
But that's actually okay. But you need to get a warlord, and if you don't, I probably won't anyway. So
Okay.
then you've got lightning flash reactions, 2 CP. We all know what that does.
Okay.
So warlord traits. There are a few good ones in here actually.
Ooh!
So because when I'm looking at these,
Minus
I'm just
bravery.
thinking, what can I do to the young Khan? Because there's absolutely no fucking way I'm making my detachment a Ynnari detachment.
Okay.
But I might be tempted to take a patrol, make my young Khan the warlord, and just bounce it around being a dick.
Nice.
Yes.
Solid.
So, warlord traits, you could give the young Khan a 5+ feel no pain. It already has a 6+ feel no pain. Whatever. You can get +1 strength and attack on soul burst.
Okay.
You can get reroll 1 hit and wound roll per turn and 5+ command point regen.
And could you stack that with the +1 attack from the other strat and the
Yes.
other +1 to hit?
Yes.
So you got +2 attacks on your warlord.
Yes.
And that would make a what? 8 attacks?
And are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
-1 enemy leadership within 6 inches. -2 if you're soul bursting.
So I can make this custodian -5 now.
And then you can take a Hemlock Wraith Fighter, -7.
Wow.
So I just kill one. The whole unit's going to run.
Well,
Unless they pay 2 CP.
There it is.
Foiled your dastardly plan.
I'd forgotten about
With
that.
a main rulebook
I'd
strategy.
forgotten about that. I would have built an entire army, done it, and then someone would have looked at me like square in the eyes and gone,
I'll save my
2 CP.
I'll save
dickhead."
my favourite till last.
Yeah.
The next one is 6s to hit, are 2 hits rather than 1. But my favourite one is you can pile in and consolidate 6 inches instead of 3.
That's good, like witches.
Yeah. But you can't double fight, which is shit.
Ah.
Yeah, very sad.
Okay.
Psychic powers. So, Gaze of Ynarri is back.
Need to
from
be
the
a
index.
little bit closer to the
sorry.
mic. Thanks.
I'm just trying. I keep rolling off the carpet. So, Gaze of Ynarri
'cause
is
it's so
back.
clean now.
It is very clean.
Yeah.
So, Gaze of Ynarri is back, which is effectively a weird smite thing. So, on a 1, you don't do any mortal wounds. 2 to 5, you do D3 mortal wounds. And on a 3, you do
6.
6 mortal wounds.
You do
On a
D6.
6, you do D6.
D6 mortal wounds. Yeah, there you go. Then you've got a power called Storm of Whispers, which is unreal bad.
I really like this one.
All right, explain to me why it's good.
So
Can I just say
it's-
one thing before we get into what it actually does?
Yeah.
But storms, powerful. Whispers, very quiet. Even a storm of
Yeah, but they're
whispers.
deadly. They're
But have you ever watched
storms.
anyone be like, I've got a kilogram of feathers and a kilogram of steel? And then the guy's like, yeah, steel's heavier. And you're like, no, it's a kilogram's worth. It just like a storm of pillows.
Yeah, but if there's a storm that's quite loud, imagine how many whispers that is. That's a lot of whispering
But
that's
it's
making a
just-
storm.
I suppose it's equal to a storm's worth of wind.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's powerful whispers.
All
So
right, maybe I'm wrong
the
on
reason I
this
like
one.
this one is it's warp charge 6, and it affects every enemy unit within 6 inches of the psyker, and you roll 3d6 for each unit, and on a result of a 6, there's 1 mortal wound.
So you roll 3 dice for each enemy unit.
You roll 3d6. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh right. I thought
Yeah,
it was
this is
three-
why it's shit.
I
yeah.
read it as you roll 3d6 and then you roll that many dice per unit.
If you did that, that'd be good.
So the max you can do is 3 wounds.
Yeah.
So
And you need 6s.
so what I was envisioning you use it, you could if you kill a unit with in the psychic phase, then your Yinkan pops up there.
Yeah. But
And then
the thing
do like
is,
an
you have-
AoE.
You have a 1 in 5 chance of doing a mortal wound.
But to every unit within
1 in 3
6.
chance.
It's pretty great,
Every
right?
every enemy unit.
Colonel says, a kilo of steel would hurt you, a kilo of feathers would smother you. This does feel like a kilo of feathers is being thrown at someone. So,
Not smothering anything.
so storm of feathers, no, storm of wind, storm of steel, rubbish. Moving on, next spell. Sorry, psychic power, but not an end of psychic power.
Word of the
Word
Phoenix.
of the Phoenix. Now, Word of the Phoenix is why I brought my Space Wolf book from 5th edition.
Okay.
Because it gives me flashbacks to the last time GW took a brilliant power and ruined it.
And what brilliant power did they
This
take?
was Word of the Phoenix, which allowed you previously to Soul Burst again.
Okay.
Now, are you ready?
Please say D3 mortal wounds, because that's one of the best spells.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I
Close.
can't wait.
I just need to. Word of the Phoenix.
Hold on, I just want to say, you to say goodbye. Ace says, I've got to go now, but I'll be saving this podcast for every time I'm feeling down or mad at the world. Best pickup ever. I'll see you chaps later.
You can look at your Looter FAQ and then I'll laugh.
Go on, nice seeing you, Ace.
Word of the Phoenix has a warp charge value of 5, which is down from 8 previously.
Oh, nice.
So easier to cast. That's
easier
good.
to cast,
That's a
good
boost.
start,
If
yeah.
manifest, select one Ynnari infantry or Ynnari biker unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. Still the same, so far so good.
We're doing sweet.
One model in that unit regains D3 lost wounds.
You can heal your Incarn. D3
Nice.
wounds.
That's nice.
No, you can't. The Yunkan's a monster.
Your brain.
Why the fuck am I healing your brain for?
Or your Vizark.
He's-
He's,
or
getting
the
stuck in,
Vizark.
he's getting stuck into combat. So
Because
he's
he's
gonna
there
take
now
damage.
with like +2 attacks,
Don't even.
+1 to hit.
No.
And he's like,
If no models in that unit have lost any wounds, but that unit has suffered 1 or more casualties, then 1 model is returned to that unit in unit coherency with 1 wound
Well,
remaining.
you can put a Guardian back into a unit.
Well, you can extend your charge range.
What the
But you'd only have 1 wound remaining.
You
so
put a
you'd have to
Witch
take it
back
off
into a
immediately.
unit.
Oh no, a witch.
Could you put a Hellion back into a unit?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could put
Oh,
a.
no, it's not
whole
about-
Hellion?
You could put a shining spear back.
You put a Shining Spear
But
back
it'd be on
on.
1
You
wound.
love Shining Spears.
But it's on 1 wound, so the moment that you get a shot with Overwatch, you have to take that one back off again.
But it saves the other
Saves-
one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, great.
This is a. I think this is a positive change for me because before
Now you don't have to deal with
before
it.
well yeah no Reapers double shooting at me, but also Word of the Phoenix, that doesn't make me think something's shooting twice, whereas Word of the Phoenix, something becoming alive again,
Or
that's
healing.
that makes
But
sense.
could you put a Skyweaver back on?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So that would mean if you had a unit of Skyweavers, yeah, here's what's cool, is because you're doing this in the psychic phase, so you are getting an extra shot in the shot phase.
Well, you could get around that by just
Yeah,
making sure you do a wound to a model.
Yeah, I agreed, but it could situationally be kind of advantageous.
It kind of feels like there's a lot of stuff in this book which is, if situationally it could be useful, but situationally it doesn't actually do that much for you.
I realise
it's very rare.
I realise what's going on now. You haven't been on the receiving end of having a codex before. Yes. This is what we've all felt like.
No. It's fine.
Have you read the mechanical codex? It's fucking
everything
rubbish.
in this codex is amazing. This is what everything should be like now.
The last 3 psychic powers, and we can get to relics, and then I can go get a stiff drink. So, Unbind Souls, which is Doom, but in the fight phase again.
Yeah.
Then you have Shield of Ynarri, which is a 6-inch KFF from Orcs.
Nice.
6-inch 5+ invulnerable save.
At what range?
6 inches.
Do they have to be wholly within?
Wholly within.
Okay.
Oh, that's awkward. Wait, doesn't your army already have an invulnerable save?
Oh, no. No, it's not wholly within.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you can string them out.
String them out.
You can string them out.
That's cool.
That's quite good. And then Ancestor's Grace is back, which is a cast value of 5, and you get rerolls to hit.
Surely that could be the premise of an entire army right there.
Yeah, with my toughness 3 bods.
Yeah, but
That costs like 20 odd points a model.
oh, sorry. Have you not played with Harlequins? That's my army.
Yeah, do you not already get an invulnerable save?
Yeah, and it sucks.
So does this.
But you can get cheaper models. Guardians are cheaper, right?
Great, I'll run Guardian Horde with.
What about Witch Hordes with an invulnerable save?
You already get invulnerable saves in melee, which is where you want to be anyway.
Yeah, but not against shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you're running into combat and taking Overwatch, you get that 5-up invulnerable save.
Yeah.
Schumer Games really wants to make the point that Storm Guardians, the entire book is based on Storm Guardians, is their
48
belief.
points for 8. So, yeah.
For 10 Storm Guardians, 48.
8 Storm Guardians.
8.
So they're 6 points a model.
Okay.
Maybe not. I can't count.
That's wrong.
Yeah,
That'd
it's
be
wrong.
12.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. So
That wouldn't be
24, 12. No. Yeah, it is 6 points a model.
Shadow Spectres, there's Colonel Cabbage, desperately needed info, and rerolls to hit. So,
Oh, it is 6 points a model.
while based on the sound of it, it does sound really shit as a codex. I would say that that ability is something that jumps out to me and says to me, actually, you could maybe build something around that because
Yeah.
it's
not great, but it's alright.
because if it's not been FAQ to Wholly Within,
Yeah.
like if you can find bodies that are cheap enough and give them invulnerable
But only
saves.
the Yvrain and the Yunkan can get these powers.
Okay, all right. Well, your vein's not terrible. I've seen it.
And
in
Yunkan
armies.
works really well with Guardians, actually.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, that's fair. Then you have the 5 relics. So you've got one relic, which is just a Husk Blade replacement. You've got another relic, which is a Shuriken Pistol replacement. You've got another relic, which is -1 to hit. You have another relic, which is a Serpent Shield and attack instead of shooting. And then you have, this is quite good, +1 movement and attack every time this model kills a unit.
Wow,
Give that to the Yunkan.
nice.
That is spicy.
So isn't the Incarn a named character though?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to.
All of them are named characters.
So you wouldn't be able to give any of these
I know.
things.
This is why I'm triggered.
You wouldn't be able to give them any of these. You can only give them, but you can take other characters.
The warlord traits actually, because you need to see if
The warlord traits will be tied specifically. Like the Incarn will have a specific
named
warlord
character
trait.
and warlord traits. So if you Yvrain as the warlord, she gets a favoured of Ynarri, which is the 6-inch consolidated pile in, all that nonsense. If the Vizark is your warlord, gets Master of Death, which is the 6 to hit, 2 hits rather than 1.
Yep.
And the Yunkan gets the Warden of Souls warlord trait, which is +1 strength and attacks when it's soul bursting.
Okay.
There you go. And that's that.
Oh, nice.
So here's what I'm going to be doing with Ynnari in the future:
okay.
putting the book on my shelf and taking
Magazine.
Craft Worlds.
Sorry, magazine.
It's a book.
That's definitely a magazine.
It's a magazine.
It's got artwork.
Can I just? Sorry. Can I just get this?
There you go.
Thank you.
Take that magazine.
I'm just going to read. I'm just going to read the top of this. This says,
Book.
and Tom, you can read the top of yours if you want. It
No,
says,
I can't, because if you look at it, it's see-through.
and it says the Ultimate Warhammer Magazine.
I can
White
peel that
Dwarf.
off. I can peel that off. I can peel that off.
You could cut the pages out and turn it into a book
minute.
if you
You
really
could-
want.
wait a minute, wait a minute.
You could.
Your book tells me when the next book's out. Mine doesn't.
Because you got a subscription.
Yeah, just
You
don't tell
need
me
to
it's
know.
popping through
You
my
know
door.
when it comes out.
It's not fair.
So Shuma Game says the Wraithseer is harder to kill than Mortarion.
Yes, it's toughness 8. Well, point for point, yeah.
Yeah.
The Wraith Seer.
It's a Forge World Wraith Knight, which don't do psychic powers. No,
Oh,
Wraith Lord, sorry.
Nice.
Yes. So there may be ways to build around some of the elements of
Yeah,
it.
but
But it's the combat stuff. Like the stratagems that jumped out to me was like the reroll wounds in combat and the +1 attack.
Well, you've
ones
got
in
so many
combat.
access. You've got like 3 different powers that give you access to reroll wounds in combat, excluding Doom.
Yeah, but like you could find somewhere to use them all in combination. So you got reroll wounds and multiple units across the table.
Now, how many charges are we going to have to pass?
Loads. But then you got
Loads.
that's why you got the your Howling Banshees, so you're not taking any Overwatch.
If only you could move faster. Yeah, that's the point. Howling Banshees can move an extra 3 inches and charge.
Do they get +3 to charge?
Yeah, if
Nice.
they advance.
Nice.
If only you could take Jane's R. If
You
only
could have Jane's
R
in
as
a
craft
different one.
models attachment,
Yeah.
So realistically, as much as we've had fun with it,
playing it with hot is fine.
yeah.
It
So
says,
they have instrumentally changed how that
Yeah. It's all about
faction is
combat
played
now.
to what it used to play.
'Cause it used to be just double shoot and double move.
Yeah,
You-
it just
you
used to be a
throw
better
spears.
version. Yeah, a better version of Eldar, right?
there's
Yeah.
an appropriate quote here on the spine of my magazine that says, "There can be no escape from the doom that they have brought upon themselves, not this side of the grave." And I like to read that as, they were so powerful, they needed to be nerfed into oblivion, and that's them bringing the doom upon themselves.
That's true.
And now they're on that side of the grave.
Well, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true. They did. They
poetic
did.
justice
They
there.
did toy with death, and they got truly smacketh down.
Welched.
So realistically, it sounds like from the ground you would have to revisit that faction from the ground up to start to
Yeah, it looks
redesign
like it.
elements.
Yeah, well, you'd have to rebuild an entirely different list.
The issue is like the +1 to hit specifically as well is like normally. I mean, it would be good if you could economy of scale it with a unit that was really, really solid in combat, or if you could do it on a character that did loads of damage. But most characters hit on 2s anyway, so a little bit triggered by that.
You can get reroll
Tom,
ones.
you said when Wraith Knights came down in points, you thought they might be quite good again.
Yeah.
Surely would a Ynnari Wraith Lords not be any good? A Wraith Knight?
What does it give it
Well, just that +1 to hit.
in combat?
And you can get
the
rerolls
issue-
to
Well, when I
wound.
ran it, the issue wasn't necessarily it doing damage when it gets in combat. The issue was it getting to combat. So
Right.
therefore, you need something like Iandon to make it more likely that it's going to be durable enough to walk in.
Can you webway
Or-
strike it?
No, it's infantry only.
Oh.
And then you, or you need Alator to give it -1 to be hit.
Right.
Again, survivability across
Again,
the board.
survivability.
Yeah, which kind of goes back to the conversation we had
You need
just
to
about
survive-
this edition of the game,
You
Tom.
need survivability or speed, one of the two.
Yeah.
And that's why you've got Slanesh getting all this kind of speedy stuff, and why you've got Orcs getting all these ways to just drop straight in front of someone's face, because you're giving them speed rather than durability.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been replicated. It's a system replicated over from AOS, realistically. Like, which I think is like a stopgap system of, because what you're not doing is identifying the problem and then like dealing with it. What you're doing is giving people tools to not have to deal with the problem, which feels like a way to. That sounds like, oh, they've actually fixed it, Rob, but it's not, because the issue is still the same. Because if you don't make that charge when you drop down, you're still just getting blitzed off the board. The problem is the blitzing, as opposed to it's the whole army versus the unit situation.
I mean, then you've got to solve a problem of it being an unreliable way to get in, and the way you solve that is by just taking as many units of boys as you physically can, so you can just keep trying until it works.
Yeah, it's. But I think you could probably do. It sounds like you could probably do something like that book, but you would have to start again from the ground up and take some key element. The invulnerable saves seems like a key element to
Yeah, it could work.
take away for me, and then it looks like you have to do something with melee. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
think-
you would. The entire thing's based around melee.
Yeah.
The problem is, do you have the base that can work with that, with the codices that you're using? Potentially with Harlequins.
Well, this is the other thing as well. You tend to find that you have, that we talked about before. Again, one of the key terms we have on the website is you can have fake synergy. So while the strength from death, soul burst gives you the +1 to hit, like
It is strength from death, though. You're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
While you see that and you think, oh, okay, like that's how I build the army, there actually might be other elements to it that are not the way that you build the army. Like most people aren't taking Blood Angels +1 to wound in melee outside of the context of one guy with a thunder hammer. Do you know what I mean? Like people aren't building all melee Blood Angels armies realistically, or they are, but they're not doing well competitively. So sometimes there's like fake synergy that result, like you see something, you think that's the way to build it, but actually maybe just having a bunch of really cheap guys with an invulnerable save is actually pretty solid. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It
maybe.
sounds like Guard Blob.
Yeah, potentially there could be something there. I'm not saying there is, or maybe a character that just goes and kicks the fuck out of everyone, like, and he's just nails because he can always be hitting you first. That seems pretty sweet.
Cool.
See what the guys in the chat. So overall, out of 10, no, 14 is sometimes how we do codex reviews. Out of 14, what would you give this magazine supplement?
A 7.
A 7.
No, out of 14,
Yeah.
I'd give it more like a 9.
A 9. That's
I
great.
really would, because I mean, I've complained to the Salt and all that. It's like, oh, it's not as good as it was.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, it's like, well, I had a good run. And should Ynarri be the main way that you should be playing? Right? How do you want Eldar to look competitively? Do you want them to look like some obscure little cult flying around the galaxy, just double firing, double moving, double shooting, just double charging things? Or do you want this thing, or do you want this little cult thing to be kind of like an obscure offshoot fluff thing? I think you want it to be the latter, don't you, really?
Well, they're not that obscure. Like, you have, like, effectively the de facto leader of Craftworld, Eldrad, who created this faction.
Yeah.
And then it's not like, oh, there's a god of death for the Eldar. It's the god of death for the Eldar. So it is.
But it's the
I
same
feel
for
like
Harlequins.
it feels like that. This book feels like a stopgap for, like, let's explore that in the future.
Yeah.
Because it would be quite cool because you don't really have that. I suppose you have it in Necrons. Necrons are a death faction, aren't they? Really, in 40k.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess. But it would be quite cool to explore that inside. Dead elves, dead space elves could be a cool model range in the future.
Yeah,
That was the thing I was going to say about this pamphlet that they've been given. It made
when even Nicholas is bashing.
it made me excited. It made me it got my hobby juices flowing for like a conversion unique looking Eldar army.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking like exactly what you just
You
said.
gonna play
like,
filthy space elves?
no, but it just I considered it as from a modelling point of view, not necessarily from that's going to be a nice, fun, competitive army to play, but just from like making a unique looking style army, like going like I was imagining like elves with like skulls for heads or something like
Yeah,
that.
who are the Space Marines who paint skulls on their helmets?
Legion of the Damned
Legion of the Damned.
Not Reavers.
or Reavers, yeah.
Yeah, it would be quite cool to do something ish.
Yeah, something
like
like
that, especially on like wraiths and stuff.
Yeah, and
Like, can you put wraiths inside of it? You can, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I quite liked it from it got my hobby juices flowing for like a unique style Eldar army. I quite like it because it's kind of like the Ynnari codex is Eldar soup, but in one codex, isn't it? Because you're taking picking things from across all the different books into one,
and again,
and unifying it with like a color scheme or conversion idea would be quite cool.
And again, we are dealing with years of editions 3 to 7 were de facto the same. They're not the same, but like as in ground up, there was it was very, very similar. As I understood it, or like 7th was just some reinterpretation of 3rd, as it was explained to me by the men who wrote the rules themselves. And 8th was a huge departure from that. But effectively, we are dealing with product ranges which didn't really have any cohesion at release. They just released them ad hoc. You have now got a company who 2 or 3 years ago actually got their shit together and started a new game. Like it's still like set in the setting that we like, but you are effectively saying they've got like a bunch of stuff and they're like, how do we deal with this? Like, so, I find that fairly interesting and watching them slowly expand. And you would expect some stuff. It's hard to delete stuff once it's been created. Yeah. So I think they'll be a bit more serious about stuff's creation in the future. But I think dealing with things like this is quite hard for them. And I do prefer that Soulburster's fucked off. I won't lie. That's good for me.
It's not unusable. It's just not the same as it was. And obviously, it's just like, well, there goes that army, which we all knew was going anyway. But I think the frequency of which is going to be seen and how it's going to be used when it is on the tabletop is much better for the theme of the army than how it was before. And that's why I'm giving it a 9 out of 14.
Yeah, perfect. All right.
The 5 is just pure salt points.
Yeah, and again, some of it like many stratagems and other things that you get in other codexes, Tom, you won't have experienced this, aren't good.
No, I know. I've played most factions.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And I'm just being.
I know.
Nick, what do you think? What do you think out of 14? And Twitch chat, I'm coming to you. So start getting your
14
your
for
reasons and why. Yeah, go on.
14 for me because I fucking hated playing against double shooting Reapers.
Well done, you've bought an Eldar Codex.
I know it's gone. I bought it from my mate Paul because he's going to inherit this once I've finished it.
The magazine.
The magazine, yeah.
Yes, the magazine with.
In my will, I leave the Eldar magazine.
For me, again, 14, I think the double shoot was silly. I think the double everything was silly. Again, they're not really thinking it through.
I mean, well, so Chaos Space Marines have access to a double shot for 2 command points, but I don't think they had access to like the same type of units that Eldar did. Like Eldar, predominantly it was used with...
Do you think it's fluffy when 40 cultists shoot 2 planes out of the sky?
Well, they've stopped that, haven't they?
Why?
Because you can't take cultists in unit 40s anymore, and you can't veterans along more them anymore.
Yeah, they have changed considerable elements.
All right, I didn't know they change vets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can double shoot with Chaos Space Marine units, but I don't think those units are quite as strong as Reapers that always hit on 3s that can have guide and then have Doom as well.
Yeah.
That was the issue for me anyway.
Yeah, it was understanding several overlapping synergies and then not really applying them together. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But to be honest, like Eldar is fairly no. Anyway, in the chat, True Soul Caller gives it a 12 out of 14 as a narrative. They destroyed it? Question mark.
I didn't read the narrative.
Colonel Cabbage, Soul Burst makes for hilarious mirror matches, which is fun.
It was really good mirror matches.
Yeah. But rubbish regular games.
In Soul Burst mirror matches.
Oh, well done. But rubbish regular games though, which I would agree with loads. Chuckleberry says, "Have you seen Judge Dredd? Them cannibals shot a prison transport down and 8 folk." That's true. Original Judge Dredd, not Carl Urban Judge Dredd. Great movie though. I am the law.
Thanks, Emma.
Kurt Swarm. The one thing Ynnari don't have, they should is a battle against stratagem like every other army. That would fit Ynnari.
If you had fight again, Ben, we're talking about young Carl.
Yeah, it is weird that they don't have.
Yeah,
that.
And they've geared up they've geared up the whole codex, the whole magazine for combat, but they don't have the combat stratagem that almost every other army has.
Interestingly, Tom, if you took the Fire Slayers army that's also inside your codex,
no, it's on the back.
But if you took that, they actually have a fight against stratagem in the AOS version of the army.
Why is for a dwarf riding a big dragon?
It's called a Magmadroth, and because
can you take 3 of them?
You can take 4 of them, but competitively, only 2 is good.
I don't care what's good.
But they can fight twice, unlike your Ynnari.
His axe is bigger than he is.
Yeah, it's called a key actually. 9.5 tone down. Day says 9.5 for tone down, 0 for the narrative. Fear the Ripper says the various fight again and shoot against stratagems should switch cost change my mind. Interesting. Currently, Hookapin says, but Carl Urban though this actually makes me want to know more about 40k. Oh, interesting. Ynnari mirror matches argument for alternate activations. Colonel Cabbage.
What?
Question?
Well, if you're fighting at the same time and you have to do alternate activations.
Oh, that's right, Azranko. You can actually take 5 Magmadroths. You shouldn't, but you can.
But you can.
Yeah.
How much are they to buy each?
Loki says it's 14 for the dwarf on the back, which is true. I give it a solid 14.
How much does this cost to buy?
It's in the start collecting box, so I don't know. £50.
I could build a 5 Magmadroth army and laugh at people.
Plus free
beers because you lose every game.
Not every game. Because people are rubbish at Warhammer. In both game systems.
So you're telling me I beat Speckles and that's about it?
Everyone beats Speckles. He's rubbish.
He went 4-1 at last Bobo, didn't he?
He's still rubbish.
What the hell?
It's still rubbish. So 14. I'm giving it a 14 because I'm happy about its effect and mainly getting rid of a faction. If they could only, I'm really happy that they changed one of the CP costs. That was a nice little nod to actually thinking about something, or it was just
a nod to thinking about something.
Yeah, or
just a little nod there.
It was a little nod.
I've not thought about everything, just that one.
don't want to be rude, because we don't tend to be on this show, so I try,
No.
try
We're
to
never
keep
rude
it.
on this
Yeah, I
show.
try to keep it as a medium. I would say that's nice for me, because maybe they've gone, actually, 1 CP was a little bit cheap for that ability. 2 is a little bit more impactful, but the army doesn't seem to run off CPs effectively.
No, that doesn't.
So I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, really interesting day. Interesting that they're. I won't give it a 14. I'll give it a flat 0 because I hate the fact that codexes are being put into White Dwarf. I actually think that's a bad.
So if it was just a little like leaflet, it'd be perfectly fine.
They released
Just a PDF, just a PDF on the website.
yeah.
Do that.
Yeah. Like they put the Galapox thing out, right?
Galabox infected.
In the book. In the
Blackstone
box, but then I
Fortress.
think they just released it
Oh, okay.
as a PDF.
Yeah.
Just do that, man.
Yeah.
Like, what's your issue? Like, it'd be cool. It'd be a nice little like Christmas present for everyone. Like, instead of making people buy £5, spend £5. I don't know. Anyway, I don't like it because I think it sets a dangerous trend. Because now the next time there's some rule, I have to go out and get it and then make sure I keep hold of that. And then someone's like, "Where's it from?" And I'm like, "It's from here."
And like,
Did you not get it?
and like, I like to do it. I like to buy my rules digitally.
Same.
But with this, you can't buy this digitally, can you?
Because they took it off the digital book.
They did take White Dwarf off the digital store, yes. So you can't buy it digitally. You would have to take a photo of it and then keep it on your phone.
You need to have photographic memory.
Yes, or just a phone. I'm just going to call it like I see it, like take a photo. And I'm sure there are already photos online. But, they're doing themselves a disservice at that point, in my opinion. Pardon me.
That was just squeaky chair, Rob.
Yeah. It is technically kind of the third codex, Chris. That's a good point. So I'm not...
Mr. Kapowski's making points about the data slates for used to release like £10 for Bella course rules.
Yes, that was
Yeah, I'm not
crazy.
sure if that's worse. Yeah.
But that was when they were really bad. Question as to what it's like now. So 40k going forward. Tom, you're not playing with these. You're playing with orcs.
I
You're an
might
orc
play
player.
with them again back in September, maybe time.
Okay.
We'll see. It depends on what happens over the summer, obviously. With
If
rumours
if
floating
if
around,
our predictions
When
are
9th
correct,
edition is released
I
in the
might
summer,
even.
yes,
well,
yes, they cost.
I might even see like what I want to do after the ETC.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nick, thoughts? Has it affected your gaming in any way, shape, or form?
it almost did yesterday when I was like,
Some
thinking,
undead
thinking of
elves.
some sort of undead Eldar army. I was like, yeah, I could do that.
It would look very cool with a Wraith Knight if you got
Yeah.
imagine like a Wraith Knight Nagash kit bash.
Ooh,
Wraith
yeah.
Knight Nagash Bash.
You've done well when you've a hobbyist goes, oh, that's I like that.
He's got a cool sword, hasn't he?
That would be very, very cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And then maybe you could do Wraith constructs and mix them up with
Morghasts? Or
the Morghasts.
Morghasts, yeah.
That would be cool. Give them wings, give them some cool halberds and stuff. But yeah, from a modeller's perspective, it could be quite interesting. Skeletons and guardians mixed together.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, it could work.
Maybe not.
I do like taking Drakari pits from like witches and Cabalite warriors and guardian sprues, throwing them in a box, mixing them all together, and then making things like storm guardians out of those.
Yeah, that's quite
Ynarri,
cool. Yeah.
because it's kind of similar.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah, and they have abandoned. They're kind of like Harlequins, where they've abandoned the past and they've moved on. And that's quite cool.
I did try and use Namati Reavers for my stuff, but Mikey wouldn't let me. So
Oh, okay.
It's Mikey's fault.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're quite cool actually.
Yeah.
They're very
good.
old. And then Loki says, "Get Dan Glover to do it. It will be amazing." I'm sure he's listening. If he is listening, oh no, he's going to listen to the podcast. If
Brad
you're listening,
Glover.
Brad Glover, you mean? Yeah. Then could you do that for us, please?
Yeah,
that would look
please do
sweet. Yes. All right. Cool. So 40k in the future. We've got the League of Knights coming up.
we do.
Yeah. So that's a week and a half away.
25th of May.
25th of May.
Yeah.
So expect some Honest Wargamer coverage from that, and it's exciting. So that's our all-night alternating activation night battle. Pack written by Nikos, been double-checked by Datcom.
He's had the .com review.
It's had the Datcom review, and then really fun and looking forward to that.
Yeah.
We're all going to be there?
Yeah, we're all going to be there. I've got the Hours of Convenience GT, which I'm coming up for as well. That's
In
the start of July. They've got their trophies that have just arrived, which are like literal medieval weapons.
Oh, awesome.
So I'm going to be heading down to that as well. And we've got some Welsh practice coming up, and that's about it.
All right. And Nikos, you got any 40k coming up soon?
I might. So me and Andy are probably going to venture off to Mansfield this Saturday because they do monthly one-day events. I don't know how many people are going to be there.
I might slide down if I can be bothered.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't.
I don't know how many
dog.
people are there. On the Facebook event page, there is currently one person signed
Is it
up.
you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Someone else. So, because I've been to one of theirs.
Is it an Italian?
No.
Okay.
So I've been to their one-day events before, and sometimes there's only been a few people. So we're going to turn up in the morning, see how many people there are. If there's like only a few, just play a game there and fuck off. But if there's a few, we'll play some practice.
So don't forget, we'll have a big news section next week because it's Warhammer Fest this weekend.
Warhammer Fest.
So there'll be lots of information out. So that'll be interesting.
We also have another interview coming out soon.
And we do have another interview coming out with
Team Canada UTC.
There we go. So that's going to be really fun.
The Canhammer dudes.
Expect that in the can.
It is in the can.
Yeah, in the can. Going out soon as a podcast, so that'll be fun. And then we've still got a show next Thursday. Don't forget. We are then going to do, if anyone's AOS curious or bi-curious.
I am curious.
Then next weekend we're all going to be at the Bravery One British Open, a massive Age of Sigmar event, potentially, and in fact, it will be the largest Age of Sigmar event ever done. So we'll be doing our classic live coverage as always. So if you guys like live coverage, just like talking shit about Warhammer all weekend, that's where we'll be. So 2 days of full coverage. So you should have a great time if you guys are interested in coming. If you want to and you want to get a watching party on, get some beers in, get the Barbie on if you're somewhere else, or nuzzle up to a moose if you're in the right sort of country. And
You might get to see me win.
Nikos is playing, so he could be winning. Tom's going to be helping out with the coverage. Scrivo, so there's the whole team. So if you're interested in the show in any way, and you like just what we do, then it'd be cool for you to tune in and watch. And it might be a nice gateway because it's be some top tier competitive Warhammer for Age of Sigmar, and I think we do some pretty good coverage. Not gonna lie. So you guys should get the best experience. So it's a fun weekend of Warhammer if you're interested.
Yeah.
And if you are Age of Sigmar curious,
and are you just covering one game and that's it, right?
No, we're not a multi-million-pound company. We're the Honest Wargamer. We're much better.
Is there going to be vast amounts of silence and innate chatter not about the game?
No, I've decided to hire
feels
people.
Needlessly malicious.
Yeah, it is. I've decided to hire people who are really competent, not only at commentating, but also are passionately interested in tactics and the narrative of the games.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Sounds
We'll
watchable.
also have a very talented person, much like Tom did when we did the LCO coverage, and
A man in a suit.
a man in a suit. Well, we're going to actually.
Does he get a table this time?
Interesting side note: we might not do suits anymore. I'm going to talk to you two about it afterwards.
Do mankinis.
Yeah, but they're gonna run around and do the infield reporting. So they'll be telling you like stories of battles that have happened and stuff, and they'll be bringing gravitas. So that's really fun.
Yeah.
So it's totally worth tuning in, even if you're only 40k interested. Just because it's fun. There'll be some great stories. There's some Chaos Demons there, so they're in 40k. Yeah. And Stormcast are basically Space Marines. So if you like Space Marines, Stormcast are basically the same.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, in fact, they're all basically got equivalents. Drukari are fish elves in the future.
Yep.
What are lizardmen though?
They're not in
Lizardmen.
40k. It would be cool to have them in 40k.
It would be really cool to have.
Really cool. And Skaven. The two armies they should transfer to 40k.
Dwarves are that one guy. Fire Slayers are that one guy from that Blackstone Fortress box.
Yeah.
They should transfer it all over.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. So do Sailor Moon costumes, says Santi.
Oh no, I've seen a Sailor Moon man in a Sailor Moon costume today. It wasn't pretty.
Ynarri just subscribed. Well, listen, it's been wonderful having you two on the show. Tom, I'm sorry about your Battle Tome, not Code. Sorry,
okay,
Codex
I'm gonna
magazine.
go back
I don't know what it's called.
I'm going to go back to playing 5th edition with my favourite book
Space Wolves.
ever released.
Okay,
the
Space
5th Ed
Wolves.
Space Wolf book. It was
Wolves.
brilliant.
Okay, all right, good. And we'll do a conversation one time about Death Stars and why we think, or why
we'll
Tom
do an
thinks,
editorial,
why Tom thinks
They
that it
can
should
be
be
good
used.
for the game.
Okay, interesting. Nick, thank you for having the show. You're wonderful.
Thank you.
As always. Can't wait for League of Nights. I know you were doing some great work on that. Thank you to everyone tuning on Twitch. Everyone there, Chuckabutty Scrivo. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Chris, I can't wait to see you in the pub in about 15 to 20 minutes. So I'm very excited about that. Everyone on Twitch, you guys are wonderful. Expect loads of stuff from us next week as we lead up to Bobo. And then after that, we've got some very exciting news for 40k in the future, haven't we? But not to be discussed right now.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone on Twitch. Thank you to everyone on
It's
Patreon.
9th edition 40k.
We're writing it.
Yeah, we're writing it. You guys are wonderful,
And I'm
and
putting Death Stars
we'll
in.
see you soon.